Players at the ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? On my release.
Tonight, I'll be eating roasted cauliflower tacos with spicy chipotle sauce. Thank you. Oh! Yeah! I wasn't ready!
You want cheese to go with that wine?
Good evening, air hockey fans. Tonight, we've got an amazing match ahead of us. Peter Kai versus David Genevicz. It's the number 2 seed versus the number 5 seed, I believe. David has already come in ahead. Actually, he was the number 6 seed in this tournament. He came in ahead of his seed. Right now, he shouldn't even be in this bracket, but he was able to best Anthony and force his way into the top 4 in the Idaho State Tournament. So tonight, you're going to be seeing the top number 2 versus the top 6, and what could be a very upsetting battle between Spec, also known as Peter Kai, and David. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome you to the American Air Hockey League, and I hope you enjoy tonight's game. Alrighty, tonight's looking like it's going to be an amazing game. Commentating with me tonight is Caleb Buss. Caleb, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking really forward to this match with Peter Kai and David. I mean, David, he's an upcoming star that came out of nowhere, and Peter Kai, you know him as Mr. Universe and Spec. He is dominating the field, so let's see what happens.
That's true. David's only been playing for 1 year. Which in air hockey terms is not super long. He came in right after our last tournament that we had. I don't believe he was even able to play in the last Idaho State Tournament. And so Spec has played in all 3 of the Idaho State tournaments. David has not. And David has been a major upset in this bracket because he was able to very quickly learn how to have an amazing strategy. His cut, right while under strategy, it's a combo. He does a cut shot and right while under. And it's the exact same strategy, ironically, that Spec has been using. So it's going to seem like 2 identical players are playing each other today. And so it's going to be really fun to watch. I think that Spec has so much more experience behind him. He's been playing for a lot longer. He's been to Texas multiple times and been trained underneath the pros. But David recently got a table at his own house and has been practicing on an original brown top table, which is really cool.
I couldn't agree with you more there. Spec really has the experience and the time in. His shots are calculated and precise. But David, he has these moves that, he's quick, he's young, and he can take to the field real quick. So it'll be interesting to see these 2 match up.
Yep, they're coming out right now. They're getting ready right this second. And, for these types of battles, you have to get mentally prepared beforehand. It doesn't seem like it. But it's a best 2 out of 3 sets. And a set is a best 4 out of 7 games. So if you look at the top of your screen right now, you'll see that there are 4 bars at the top. And so when the players start winning games, they'll fill that up. The first person to fill out 4 games first wins 1 set. The first person that wins 2 sets takes the entire match. Whoever wins this match moves on to go actually against number 1 in Idaho currently, and it's an exciting game because no matter what, whoever wins this game is at least number 2 in Idaho, if not number 1. Whoever loses this game will have to play Josiah for 3 and 4. So whoever loses this game is at least number 4 in Idaho. Whoever wins could be number 1 in Idaho.
And that's something really to look forward to. They're going to have to go against you next, correct? Whoever wins this match is up against you.
That's true. I started it here in Idaho a long while ago, and since then these guys have gotten so good. Even recently, my recent challenge match with Peter Kai, the one practicing on the table right now, he ended up beating me in a match and taking my world rank from me. And so technically right now, his world rank is 1 rank higher than mine is. And so I'm hoping that, I really want David to win because everyone loves the good underdog story and the upset battle. But deep down, I kind of want Spec to win so I can regain my honor by taking him out for number 1. So that's where this game goes. We have a poll that we are going to be posting in a little bit in the chat and asking if, for who everyone thinks is going to win this match. And so we're going to start a poll here in a little bit to see who everyone's rooting for, voting for, who do they think is going to win.
It looks like they're starting up right now, though.
Yep.
Here we go.
David immediately gets the first possession. Goes for a cut.
Oh.
It's missed. Goes for a right wall under. It's deflected. He's already got a lot of puck control.
Very quick shot. Doing a couple cuts there, a couple slice. Nice little change-ups. He's playing with the puck a little bit, just testing out the waters. Spec now going in for a little bit more heat. Doesn't quite connect. David gets the puck.
Goes for the right wall. See, and this is what I was expecting to see. They both have such a similar style, and that style is going to make this game very close and very fun. They were checking to see if he went over the line. He was not. He's still good.
I don't think he was. I think he was slightly, but not enough to matter.
No, the mallet would have to go completely over the line for it to be a foul.
It was only a quarter of the way over,
right.
So it is solid.
David
still
has
the
control.
Again.
Yeah.
Very good control. Absolutely.
But
as soon as Spec gets it though, David's going to be in trouble.
Oh, he gives it back to him. And so here's the thing with David. It's hard to say this, but he hasn't been practicing. Oh, he gets a first point.
Oh, what a good shot.
With David, he hasn't been practicing the last few weeks. And so,
right back.
Whereas Spec has spent the last few weeks practicing, getting ready for this game. And so it would be absolutely crazy if David was able to do an upset match right now, beat Spec, and go for number 1.
Watch this. I don't know. Watch this replay. He sends it to the middle, but then takes a shot right after. Beautiful.
Nice cut from Spec. We're going to see a lot of that shot, that cut shot, plus the right wall. So, right there, that's a right wall because it hit the right wall and banked off of it. And right there's another one. Beautiful right wall under.
Right wall under.
Look how fast that was, and look how Spec was just 1 centimeter out of position. You can see Spec, he pulls left, but it's just 1 second late because of how fast David hit it. It's now
and and sometimes, David's watching Spec. He's bringing the puck up to the line, and he's watching Spec before he takes that flick shot to see if Spec moves his mallet and get into that goal.
Beautiful. It's now
nice
3-2.
Shot.
We can see that David's not being pushed over right now, though.
No, he's got a lot of reach. He's taking really good control of the puck. He's staying.
Okay, look at this, Caleb. It's from the back of Spec's mallet. Watch where the puck hits Spec's mallet. It's not the front. It's near the back of his mallet, like around 5 o'clock. Beautiful.
I mean,
shot.
you can't get a better cross than that.
It's such a deceitful shot because when you hit it from the back, it's like delayed. And there he goes again.
Right.
Another back of the mallet shot. It was missed though. Goes for another back of the mallet shot. It's stolen. David can now bring up the score here.
David going for a lot of right walls. I think David needs to switch up just a little bit more here.
Oh,
he does, but
he did a left wall, but it was way too soft. And there's a back of the mallet cross. So this is not a cut. You'll see it's a cross because it goes to the other side of David's goal this time. It doesn't go straight across table. It goes to the far side. And the thing is that now, what Spec...
Really nice overhand there, but Spec is there to defend it.
Spec, you'll notice that he's got just an arsenal of different shots. And he's reading David right now. He's testing the waters and seeing what's going to work. And already he's found that the cut works and the cross works against David. David's going to have to bring up his defense.
Of shots now. David has a lot of really good shots. They don't have the power right now. He needs to give it just a little bit more power with his shots, and I think he would be getting a lot more connected goals here.
Spec only 2 points away from taking the first game.
Ooh, nice quick right wall under.
And David steals it again. Can he bring the score back from 5-2? I like how he's slowing it down. He's taking his time. Goes for an off goal. Goes
Very
again.
nice.
Another off goal. Sets it up.
Trying to pull Spec just enough away to where he could get the goal in. Spec, you can see that experience where he's just holding in front of his goal. He's not doing a lot of movement. He's not letting David get any good reads on him.
Spec takes it back. Goes for a shot. It's deflected and stolen. Now is David's chance to bring it to 4. Goes to the right wall over. It's barely missed. If he can zero in on that shot, Spec is going to be in trouble.
It's really amazing to watch both these players.
No. It's now game point to 3 after David scored on himself.
It's really interesting to watch both these players because you'll notice that David, he'll look up at Spec every now and then, whereas Spec, he doesn't really look up at David when he takes his shots. He just plays his own game. He follows his routine. It's really interesting to see. David with control. Goes for another right wall.
He's got, in my opinion, at least 3rd best in Idaho for drifting and puck control. He's done such a good amount of work on his control. Oh, there's that cross for the game-winning point.
A good start to the game, 7-3. That's respectable for any match,
Spec pulls it in the back of the mallet once again and takes that winning shot. Oh, that's fantastic.
The first game usually sets the pace, but I would say that players, once they warm up, a lot can change. So we'll see what happens in the next couple games coming up.
Caleb, who are you rooting for in this game right now and why?
Well, I would say I'm rooting for Spec in the sense of I think Spec still has more time, more game knowledge, and he's a solid player. And I would also like to see you versus Spec again for the finals and see if Spec is going to take you down or not. As for David, I think he would do a good job. I just don't think he's quite there yet. I think he needs a little bit more time, a little more experience. He's got a lot of good shots, a lot of good positions. I think he just doesn't quite have the impact in order to take you down, whereas Spec, I think, does.
Game should be starting here in just 1 second. We got a chat filling up right now. Take a second. You can the players see this live. This game is live, so take a second to post in our poll. You can also take part in the chat. And the players, after the sets, what they're going to be doing is they're going to sit down in the chairs and answer your questions live after each set. So definitely get some questions ready to ask them.
Right. So who are you going for, Nathan?
This is such a hard one because David has been putting a lot of practice. He's gotten 2nd place at many of the Idaho weeklies that we do. And so it's like I love the underdog story as much as anybody else. So I really want to see David win this. I want to see him progress. But on a personal note, I really want to see Spec win this game because, once again, I think that he's putting the most amount of work. He's been practicing nonstop. Ooh, these are great back-to-back shots right now. And I really would really like to go against him for number 1. Oh, it's another one. Back 2-1 now.
All right, well.
Oh, beautiful cut. Look at where he executes a shot from. He's back near his goal. You can see it's like halfway up the table or quarter of the way up the table. Beautiful shot. Very deceptive.
And he made it look like a cross. He made it look like it could have even been a right wall, but instead it was a beautiful left-sided goal cut. And that's hard to do. It's hard to and that's the one thing that David is actually really
Oh,
great at
no.
compared to a lot of other players that I've noticed is he makes his shots look the same no matter what. That's his best quality, I would say, is
Yeah.
he can make a lot of his shots look the same but go completely different than
when
you
you're
expect.
when you're watching David's wrist, that's what makes him such a good player, is that his wrist is deceptive. It's extreme. The last time he was playing, when he was playing against Anthony, when he beat Anthony in that upset battle, it's David's wrist that really makes his game work. Oh, it's a game point to 3 now. Spec is just not giving him any breaks. Ooh,
One of the
beautiful
things-
right wall under. Here comes.
One of the things I'd say David could work on is he I feel like he's being a little too telegraphing his puck position, meaning his defense right now. He's just going so far up his
over.
puck position. You know, he just now went over. I feel like he's a little too wild on the board for his defense. His defense he needs to close in on his defense a little bit. But when he's wild, when he's attacking on his offense, that's great.
And that's the game right there with a cross. And Spec has found this opening right now in David's defense. You can see that he
Right.
continually gets the cross in on David over and over and over again. And so David needs to bring his defense up a bit. He needs to be very disciplined. And this is where the trap I ran into against Spec as well, is that if you have a slightly undisciplined defense where you move around a tiny bit, you will fall prey to his cut and cross combo. Every time.
Absolutely. Spec's consistency is really where he excels. I mean, he studies and he practices these shots, these moves, and he's got that same shot over and over down to where it needs to be. And so if you even give him an inch, that's it. Say goodbye.
We got in the chat. They're talking about the hat. Last time that David was playing, they said he looked a lot like Luffy from the anime One Piece, so people all want to see him wear the Luffy hat. They think that that will fulfill their dreams. I'm not sure. What do you think about that?
I think he would also need to dye his hair black. If he did that, if he dyed his hair black, wore the red shirt and put on the straw hat, I mean, he could do it. Then he just has to smile the whole time he's playing. That would really disrupt the opponent's ability to play against. I mean, nothing's harder than playing against a player who's hard to read, who's just smiling at you, you know?
I feel like there's a lot of loose rules in air hockey, and when it comes to distractions, they're very loose on those rules as well. And so I always thought it would be funny to have a briefcase with just little like cutout circles of every person that plays, like their heads, like a little picture of their head, and just like have a Velcro piece on your mallet. And so if I was playing against you, for example, I could just take a picture of you, like just your head smiling, and just stick it to my mallet. So as you're playing me, you're just looking down at your own smiling face back at you. I always thought that would be really funny.
That would just be, it's like excessive celebration without celebrating.
Yeah.
And that would be an interesting thing. I wonder how air hockey would change and what kind of rules may have to come about.
We've often said that
doing
one day, here comes a face-off. Spec gets first possession right off the bat. Ooh, and there's that cross. So it just right off the bat with the cross, he just slams that in there. Ooh, and then David with the cut.
His cuts are killing Spec.
And for those watching that don't know the difference between a cut and a cross, it's this side. So see David in the replay, he hits it on the left side of Spec's goal. If you're hitting it in the left side of someone's goal, that's a cut. If you hit it in the right side, that's a cross. If they're a right-handed player, which both of these players are right-handed, so it makes this a little more easy.
And
right
David's
there,
going
right wall under,
beautiful.
beautiful. It's
He went
so
for 3 cuts in a row.
Look at his wrist motion on that one.
I'll say, it might have been 2 cuts and an off goal, but he played it all on the left side so long that when he took that right wall, it just went right in without any, hesitation. So, and that's the way to do it. You see David, he's playing the left wall, and then he goes for the right wall because he's got Spec playing more on the right side. He's trying to convince Spec that, hey, I'm going on this side. And that way he can make that right wall under. Beautiful. Great mentality, great thinking. I love to see that strategy.
And he's
great.
David's right now in the lead for the first time that we're seeing right now, except for the very first point of the game, I believe. Okay, so you can see Spec. He's doing an off goal on the left-hand side. 3 off goals in a row. Goes for that middle shot. Goes for the right
and
wall.
then the
You
right
see
wall
that?
because
Beautiful.
they're just back and forth. You know, they're trying to get their opponent to fall into the trap of I'm shooting this side, and then they take the other shot that you're not prepared
You
for.
fall
It's
into
really
the
I
rhythm.
love seeing.
And you'll notice he even did it off of his normal time. Spec did a wall shot and then a shot. See how he's doing it again? Wall shot, then a shot.
And you know, this is the part of air hockey that's hard to explain to viewers is that yes, you know, there's a lot of shots going on, but it's not just the shots. It's the off the table, you know, planning that's going on that these players are doing. That are hard. It's hard to see it, but they're trying to pull the other player's attention into a certain area, so that way when they take the shot that they actually mean to hit, it goes in.
You're correct. So we frequently will go to the arcades and we challenge new players for money, right? We'll say if you beat us, you get $100. If you lose, you got to subscribe, right? And one of the things about that is one of the questions I get constantly is they say, "Wait, is there actually strategy to this game?" Because most people don't even realize there is strategy. But that's sort of like saying the same thing about chess. You'd be like, "Wait, is there an actual strategy to this game?" Well, of course there is. And the same goes for air hockey. There's actually many strategies to the game. So each player right now is trying to figure out which side of the goal the player's hitting it towards. So David, his two shots are the right wall under, which go onto the Spec's left side of the goal, and his cut, which goes into Spec's right side of his goal. And so you don't really know which side David's hitting the puck towards. That's his strategy. Spec has a much more advanced strategy at this point in his game with the cut, cross, right wall under combo. And there it is again, right there. He goes for the cut. He has it rebound. He goes for the cross. Watch this. I think we caught both shots on this replay too. He goes for the, nope, just the cross on that one.
He's, you know, he just has a strategy that he sticks to when it works. And if it stops working, then he'll switch his strategy. And it's, you know, it's a great method.
David sets it up. He's taking it a lot slower now, which I like to see. He's kind of getting frazzled, but now he's going to start getting in the groove. Spec doesn't really get frazzled very much.
Right.
But David
Spec
does.
has a very, he is very principled, and he is, you know, he's got his methods and he sticks to it.
Right.
And it, you know, I wonder how much farther Spec can go, because the thing is right now he's kind of at that barrier, that wall where he's made it to this certain spot that it's hard to break.
Oh, beautiful. Dead on stops it right at the line. Check this out. He reaches out, stops it.
Whoa! Look at this offhand, though, right afterward.
Oh, that's awesome. This game is
incredible.
This is what we should be expecting right now from top 4 in Idaho right this second. And a lot of people will not believe that are watching this. They'll say, I could beat those guys. The thing is that you can't. We've gone 2 places. We challenge people for money. Nobody can beat these guys except the very few that are higher ranked than them in the world.
Nice cut.
It's 6-5 now. This could be the 3rd game in a row for Spec if he wins this, or can David take this game back? He gets a cut. It's now 6-6 match.
I can't even believe that one went in because Spec was there and it didn't matter. It just squeezed right in.
David steals possession. Spec did not get the crossing.
Last cut.
He fakes.
He goes for a right wall, loses control.
Spec sets it up, goes for the cut, loses it. This is David's chance to win his first game. Goes for a very soft right wall off speed on purpose. Goes for another off goal. He gets it back. He sets it up. Goes for another very slow off goal on purpose. He's teasing Spec right now.
Out of the goal. He gets it to pull out. He goes for right wall, but it doesn't connect.
Loses possession because he hit it off the table. It's now Spec's puck. Waiting to hear the whistle. It's in play. Spec's going to go for that cut, or that cross. He loses possession again. David sets it up.
Nice and slow, nice and slow. Takes it to the front. He has a lot of time with it. Goes for an off-wall cut. Doesn't quite connect. Goes for a right wall. Doesn't quite connect.
Sets it up again. This is intense. Goes for another off goal. He's trying to bait Spec out of the way. And then he gets it with a right wall. It wasn't even fast. It was a perfect off-speed right wall under. Watch the shot.
Spec thought it was going to be another off-speed.
Because it was such a light hit. It was a light hit.
It went right in.
Fantastic. And now David has 1 game on the board. It's now 1 game to 2. Up until this point, you know, Spec has been having just kind of a free rent inside of David's head, living, you know, as I say, rent-free, but David is now past that. The jitters are off, and I think that we're going to see a much different game from this point forward.
Well, and you know, it's like you say. I think you know, it took a little bit for both players to kind of start to read each other, and now David knows that he can get a lot of cuts in, and if the cuts stop working, just do a right wall real quick, and you get a goal there. So I do think that these cuts and right walls are starting to work on Spec, and we'll have to see if Spec can have an answer for that. Otherwise, it's still a real close match between the two of them. I'm not sure. It could go any way this next game. Whereas before, I would have said that Spec is still going to hold on to it. But now, I think David's got a little bit more of a good read on Spec. So we'll see how this, transpires. It progresses. And
David's got his number, but the thing is that, okay, so this is what they say about almost every game. So I don't want to sound cliche, but they say whoever adjusts the most wins the game. And so if David is able to adjust to block Spec's cut cross combo, he's going to win this, and as long as Spec doesn't adjust as much. The thing is that both of these guys are tacticians, especially Spec. He studies every angle. He studies every shot. Spec is constantly, in fact, he's done, I think, 400-plus games where he's challenged people for money, where if they beat him, they take $100 of his dollars away, and if he wins, he gets nothing. And he does that just to get better.
One of the best shots that I see Spec do are his weird offhand shots. His offhand shots are so unexpected,
right?
And it's really great. Whereas, David, he has a really quick flick. So it's interesting because he'll do a lot of speed, and then he'll have a quick flick. And if you ain't ready for that quick flick,
right?
That's it.
Spec with possession. He goes for the cut. it's a perfectly executed cut. And I want you to see where he hits this on the mallet. You can tell that where he hits it is not the backside this time. It was at the very tip of the mallet, the 12 o'clock mark. If the mallet was a clock and had the clock markings, and he does it again. You see at the very tip of it. So Spec is not just thinking of strategy on which shot to use. He's also thinking about where on the mallet he wants to hit that puck to fool the opponent.
Well, and that's one of the great things about Spec is he really has some of the he has so many shots, and he was doing a lot of right walls and a lot of crosses, and even a couple good offhands. But now he switched it up and started doing a lot of cuts. And I think that's actually to answer to David's cuts.
Right.
I think he wanted to say, hey, look, I can do the cut too. Here you go.
David set it up, goes for the cut. Goes for, it's a garbage shot.
Oh, what a double wall.
It's a garbage shot. And you can see,
Thunder.
look where David, after he hits the shot, look at his mallet, watch his mallet, and he taps it on the goal. See how he tapped it on the goal? That was him saying sorry because that was what they call in the air hockey world a garbage shot. It was an unintended shot. He did not mean to make that shot.
Well, you know what? I think some of these players just need to get better at intending it because it was a beautiful shot.
Okay, but here's the thing. If they intend it, that's fine. But you can tell because you can tell right away he apologized for it. He made the shot and felt bad because it was an unintended shot. It's like in pool. If you're aiming for one ball to hit it into the pocket, and it goes for the wrong one, you don't feel good about that. You feel that you made a bad shot. You're glad you got a ball.
And if you do it in the ballroom, they'll straight up tell you that it was a bad shot and you don't get to keep it.
Yeah, and that's a
some
thing.
of those pool guys.
The only problem is that they don't make you call out your shots in air hockey. I'm glad because the game goes way too fast to call out a shot. You play that way actually, Caleb. Sometimes you'll yell at a shot before you hit it on purpose to get in your opponent's head.
Oh, it's so much fun. I don't know how else to play than it's just so exciting when you announce your shot before you take it because it's like saying, "Look at me." It doesn't matter if it's coming
attack,
and gonna make it anyway.
It's like yelling sneak attack. Okay, we right now David is actually ahead 2 points. This is the first time I think we've seen David up this high above Spec in this match so far. And then Spec comes back with a cut. It's once again off of the tip of the mallet.
5-4, beautiful offhand there.
Yeah, that forehand from David looked really good. He does it again. It's a forehand.
Another one.
And you see it's going towards the cut side. It's a forehand cut.
How quick shot it is.
He accidentally let that go. And now Spec is trying to do the same thing. Do you see that? It's sort of like, oh yeah. Sometimes you forget you even can do it.
I forgot that I have that shot. Oh,
okay,
man.
Check out this forehand.
It's beautiful to see.
That forehand was so spot on. He smashed it perfectly. That was fantastic. And it's because of that practice, right? But it's funny because you'll forget that you even have a shot. Oh wait, this is game point right here. This has gone so fast. I almost didn't even realize. Game point to 5 now. David just needs 1 point. It could be right here. He gets it back.
Almost loses, and then he touches.
No,
and
he
then
didn't. It's not they touched it. He went over the line and then he stopped it. He really shouldn't have. Though. He should have let the ref decide that because if it wasn't over, then he would have been for stopping it.
Right.
Spec could tie this up right here. And he loses control. David gets it back, goes for a double wall. Okay, goes for the cut. This is intense. This could be David's second game, and he could tie up this whole match. No, Spec rebounds it.
Spec
Beautiful
uses
transition.
a fake flick and then takes the shot. What a great fake by Spec.
Okay, this is David's chance. He had one extra chance, and he lost it, so now he cannot make any mistakes. He has to make the shot if he wants to win this game.
I mean, it would be great to see Spec or David tie it up here and keep this match going, but it's still anyone's game.
He goes, so he's doing the same thing as he did last time. He should play every point this way. He goes for a bunch of those right wall unders that are off speed.
Gets control. He's taking it now. He's taking a nice fake shot there.
Fake out.
Goes
for the cross. It's a miss. That's one of the few misses he's done with a cross. Goes to the right wall under. It secures the third game. Devastating for David, because if he had won that game, it would have tied it up. But now Spec only needs one more to take this set.
I mean, what a great match that was, though. You know, 6-7. You can never be upset when it's that close. You know, it could have been anyone's game there. I'm sure David is going to let it get him a little bit down mentally, but David did a really great job that match. You know, had a pretty good defense, good offense. Those offhand shots he started taking, really great to see. Great shots. You know, not much to say there.
It's incredible how good David's doing, though. I want that to be very clear. For him to take the currently ranked number 2 in Idaho and put him to a 6-6 game. I mean, before this point, I was telling, and not just me, but the late George Anderson had told Spec as well that the next big thing in Idaho is David. The way that he has his release on the puck, the way that he's able to take control of it, the way that he has his strategy built. And Spec multiple times said, "Oh, I don't really know. I think I could beat him," you know, but they never played together.
I'm kind of wondering. I noticed that there is a couple tells that David does, not so much with his flick shots, but with he does a certain movement with his whole body, and I think it's a tell. I don't know if anyone else has caught it yet.
He does. And that's the thing that I've been telling him for a while, is that he's got to make both of his shots look the same. But, you know, the thing is that Spec never plays him. What I mean by that is David goes to the weeklies on Sunday. Spec can't make those. Spec goes to the other arcade on Saturdays, and Spec trains nightly at the arcade. So they miss each other like ships in the night, passing by each other. They both get a lot of practice. David has his own table at his house, but they don't play each other.
So this is kind of a new territory for them both.
It is, and so it's funny because David knows exactly who he's going up against, but Spec has said before, he's like, I think I can beat that guy. And so I've been wanting to see this game for a long time. Ooh, Spec loses his mallet right off the bat. So I'm excited about this game because I've been seeing David's progress, and I knew that he was going to give Spec trouble. I knew it wasn't just going to be a 7-0 game every single game. And to see it be 7-6 is pretty incredible. Even a win from David already is incredible against number 2 in Idaho.
Well, and you know, Spec has a lot of really good, consistent shots. And see, this is what I mean. His shots, even when he screws up, his shot still went to the goal. And his shots are really spot on. I will say they're not as fast as what David throws, though. If Spec could increase his speed to the way that David's shots are, Spec would be a really big threat, even to you.
Spec is a big threat to me, and so is David. David is a huge threat to me. He's actually beaten me in multiple games. He gets so close on almost every game because his right wall unders are blazing fast. When he's on his game, David is nearly unbeatable with those right wall unders because they're so fast. I mean, that right there's a good example. Spec moves forward because he thought he could read where David was coming from, and it was just perfectly aligned. It's now
absolutely.
It's now 3-1. Nope. It's always good when a puck sticks in the goal like that. Once in a while, it sticks in there, and it's just we usually yell at each other. It's 2-1. I'm sorry. We usually say, "Let that sink in." If it sticks in the goal, we yell across the table, "Let that sink in," because sometimes the puck gets hit so hard it will actually wedge itself into the metal goal. I mean, usually when that happens, you'll have to sand the puck again because pieces of the puck will actually break off.
Yeah, how often do you have to change your pucks?
So they have a definite sweet spot. When you first get a puck, you have to break it in. Usually we leave it at the arcade and let the noobs break it in for us. And then it has a beautiful, like, middle span of its life where it's broken in, and then it gets worn out, and then it will fly off the table like crazy. So I would say a puck is good for about maybe a year at the most, where you can't really use it for the first month of use, and then you get like, 9, 10, 11 good months out of it, and then you gotta chuck it.
Right. Well, the up-and-coming star, David, he's really giving Mr. Universe a run for his money right now, 2-2.
It's true. You see, if
he
he
might
can
be
get that right wall under, he's done that right wall under, and it's gone straight to the middle. He needs to sharpen that right wall under up, and then Spec will be in trouble. Oh, I love that. Look at that. Just that slow shot, getting Spec. And you see how Spec starts to hunch over even further. He was trying to lean to get that puck, and so that possession time really messes with Spec's head.
Right.
David gets possession back again. He cannot lose this game, otherwise he loses. And then Spec right away has to return the favor. He can't dwell on that dribbling.
Well, it's really interesting. David really sits higher in front of his goal than most people, and I want to say it's almost up to the pro status, but I feel like it's also he's moving too much for being that far up, and that's what's giving away his defense. So if you're going to move that far up, you got to be a lot more strict with your position. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, against Spec, Danny Hines, when I was playing him and I was losing, and I did lose that match, Danny Hines just said you have to have a disciplined defense. And what that means is staying put, not moving, staying firm, and expecting that cut cross. Oh, that one bounced off of David's mallet into his goal. You could see it right here. It actually, it popped off of the rail, and David hit it in. Oh, another one, right wall under. Spec now with a demanding lead, 5-3.
Spec is saying, hey, you might be the young star, but I'm still.
Here's another one. Do you see how David hit that thing, and he said you could hear David say out loud, "Oh, I'm sorry," because he did another garbage shot. David needs to get these next 3 points. He cannot let Spec get 2 more.
I think David is. Oh no.
No. All right.
He said, "No, I'm not going to let you take the goal from me. I'll take it from myself."
David sets it up.
All right.
Goes for a right wall under. 1 more point, and this will be the entire set. Get your questions ready, because if Spec does win this game, they're both going to be sitting on the chairs. You can ask them some questions.
What I find really interesting is that David has more time with the puck. A lot more time with the puck.
He does.
But his defense just falls apart to Spec's shots.
Oh, Spec almost loses it. Gets it back. Goes for a trick shot. He loses possession. David should not be doing a forehand right now. Almost lost possession. He sets it up. Goes for the cut. It's dead in the center, though. Spec is trying to win. He's trying to win using his trick shot. There he goes again.
Nice perceive there. David's got it. David goes for another cross. Doesn't quite make that one.
But he has possession back. Oh, no. And you guys see, once again.
An unlucky good shot by David.
And there it is, the final shot. You can see it bounce into his goal. That is not a good way to end the first set. I really wanted to see a 6-6 game here, but you can see he stopped it. He actually was in front of it, but he just didn't give it enough push to slow it down all the way, and it slowly rolled into his goal.
No matter what, though, what a great first set. 7-3, 7-3, 7-6, 7-6, and 7-5, I believe. Not a bad showing for the first set. And, this is usually once the first set is over, everyone starts to get their jitters out. You get talking on the chair and everything else. You find out where you can improve, and then you come back up to the table stronger than ever.
Agreed. I'm actually going to go out right now and get ready to ask these guys some questions. And before I do that, Caleb, you know Ruth as well as I do, in the fact that she grew up with our family. She knew both of us before we were even born. Would you mind taking a second to talk about Ruth Kubicek and how awesome that she is?
Sure. And, Ruth, with Ruthless Real Estate, she's really a great person and a great real estate agent. And, after the fire had taken out a lot of our family's homes, we were looking for a place to go, and we ended up in Idaho, where Ruth was, and she, would stop what she's doing and I think for my brother's sake, she went and helped them look at, I don't know, 18 different homes. And, he ended up finding a place quite quickly. Whereas with my mother, she wanted to take her time. And so we ended up looking at, I don't know, probably a couple hundred homes or more just online, and then coming out and seeing another, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 homes
honest, David,
before we found the
Tim
perfect
Weisman
home up
and
in
Jacob
Idaho.
Weisman and Noah Weisman say,
And, she really takes the time, and, there's nothing better than
Like, so
than having
they're
someone
always
there
wearing a sweater
to
when
take
they're
the
not
time
playing.
with. So, go with Ruthless Real Estate if you're in the Idaho area. All right, Nathan.
Yeah.
All right, so
when you're ready, come on, jump over here.
the players will come up here, and we'll get to sit down and speak to the players. If you have any comments or questions or things you'd like to ask or say, type it out in the comment section below. And don't forget to leave a like and
just a
subscribe.
second, folks. If you can hear me at all, be with you in just 1 second. And Caleb, if you want to keep going on for 1 second while we get all set up here.
Right. Well, this has been a really good game. And I think after this, David may hear a couple things or a couple good information that could get him the win in the next set. So it'll be interesting to see if Spec takes the next set and ends it, or if David can pull out this next set and take the lead.
We can hear you guys in the office, by the way. All right.
So
yeah, no, it should be really interesting. We're gonna have David come over here right now, and we could ask him some questions. Actually, there's been a special request. Tim, right above your head on that TV up there is a hat. Right above. No, wait, freeze, go back. Yeah, that. And I don't know how you feel about this, David. The fans, they were wanting to know if you'd ever wear the Luffy hat. How do you feel about the Luffy hat?
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Woo. All right, so there's apparently some anime. So if you wore that, do you think you'd beat Spec at the game?
No.
No. It's like no.
I'm gonna
All right.
put that right there.
That's perfect.
I think the chat has spoken, and that the hat must go on the head.
So, David, here's the thing. I don't know how you're feeling right now. Actually, I should just straight up ask right now, like, how are you feeling? I'll put this keyboard here. Oh, wait, there you go. How are you feeling about this game right now?
I just feel as if I need to just adjust more to how he plays, because I haven't really played him that much.
Right.
And I've been on like 2-week break for the Sunday tournaments, so yeah.
When I thought about that, I was like, bad timing for a break, man. This is like practice time. Have you been practicing at home at all?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Well, you can't do that against Spec. Even with an immense amount of practice, I still can't beat him in many of the games that him and I play. He still gets me beat, and I have a table at home that I play with. And so, but here's the thing: your first games, you were a little bit nervous, right? He doesn't really seem to get nervous. After your first games that you started playing, you got into the groove, and you were taking him 6-7, 5-7. You won a game 7-6.
Yeah.
So like, don't get nervous, because you got one set left to crush it.
Yeah.
And if you crush it in that set, don't worry about the set after that. That's tomorrow's problem in a sense, right? So focus on just one set, one game.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple things I'd like to say, and watching the game, I mean, you have some really great shots. And I would say the only thing against Spec, you have to tighten up your defense, because he is coming for you, and his shots, they're precise. They aren't like other players where they just kind of throw it at you. They will go in if you don't have a tight defense.
Yeah.
But I love how much time and how much control you have of the puck. You have a lot more time with the puck, and generally when that happens, that means you got a lot more opportunities to take those goals from him.
Right. I mean, right. Did it cross your mind one time? Did you ever think to yourself while playing him, he's blocking everything? Like, did you think that to yourself at all?
A little bit, but I just want to add a little more about defense against Spec. So I noticed I had to adjust. What it was he was moving out, and that made my defense move, and he'd go for a cross.
Right.
So I just stay put, and it seemed to work most of the time, at least.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so the thing is with Spec, he has a very, very accurate shot. He does a cut, he does a cross, and it's like extremely accurate, right? You guys need me to adjust this? Okay, we'll adjust it. We're getting yelled at by our producers right now. One day,
It's the back rooms. They're coming for you.
it's hard to be it's hard to be famous. We can actually hear the back room right now, so you guys, we can hear you. You're good. This
is that
fun.
better?
There you go. Okay. We can hear you, David. You're
Beautiful.
Good. All right. So. All right. Sorry about that, folks. So here's the thing. His shots are going to be pinpoint accurate. So your defense has to be pinpoint accurate. You have to be able to very, very quickly read his shots. But here's the thing. You have to take away the shots he's getting the most on you. He's getting your cut. He's getting your cross. So you have to bring up your defense a bit. You have to just plant there. So when I played him and lost to him, Danny Hines, I don't remember if you were there that game, but Danny Hines said, you have to have a disciplined defense, Nathan. You have to plant yourself there. Don't freeze up, but stay there until after he makes a shot. Because I was getting ready, I would pull back before he'd hit it. I was turtling, and then he would make the shot on me. Okay? He's got a blazing fast right wall undercut cross combo. He even does a random left wall once in a while. So you have to take away the shots he's doing the most, which is the cross. He's killing you on the cross, which means you're coming down to the right. You have to stay up there to block the cut cross combo. Force him to do his bank shots, which do take longer to get to your goal. So take away his fastest shots with the cut cross because they're the shortest distance, and you have to block those banks. Against him on his, you got it in his head. You were doing those off goals. He was getting antsy. You could see his back start hunching over. So what you need to really work on is getting that cut a little bit sharper. Your right wall unders, a lot of those were hitting mid. And they would have gone in, but they went straight mid. Don't give up on them. Just tighten that up a bit. Okay, like look at the rail, look at his goal, do the math in your head, and nail that shot. Because if you can make that a threat, it's going to open up the cut, which is like one of your best shots. Your right wall under is also one of your best shots, but you're hitting it to the middle, so then you're scrubbing it, and you're going straight for your cuts, and he's going to just sit there and block those. He's sitting in the middle, blocking your cuts, and your right wall unders from the middle. Does that make sense? So get that cut a little to the left, get your right wall under a little to the right, and then you're golden. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the chat right now. In the chat, we've got some questions. Let's see. We've got a lot of people. There's some people that are going for Spec right now in the chat. I know for a fact Emily's been rooting for you because of the hat. And we got people saying that they've been waiting for this game for weeks. Vi is in the chat also, specifically rooting for you, David, saying good luck, David. He's a tough opponent. We've got 11 votes right now so far in the poll. So take your chance. If you haven't yet, take a quick second to take part in our poll. Right now you can see where it's at. You're actually ahead in the polls. People want you to win this game.
Cool.
People want you to win this. So don't let him down.
You know, and David, he's in the hot seat right now. You know, this is the game where if you take Spec down, you're up against Nathan for the #1. I mean, that's an impressive position to be in for being seated at 6. So it'd be great to see if you can tighten up that defense and take Spec down in this next set. It'd be awesome to see.
All right.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to have Spec jump up here. And David, thank you so much for your time. Just reminding all of our fans to take a second and to put something in the chat for us because we love to read your chats. The players love to answer questions. Would you go in the office and let them know that we can hear every word they're saying? Thanks, David. Good luck on your next match, man. Do not let them get in your head. Take your time. Have fun with whatever you do.
All right. So you want me to check? I can hear you.
Just let them know that we can hear them.
And here he is,
Yeah.
Peter Kai, Spec, Mr. Universe. How are you feeling?
All right, what's up? What's up? I'm feeling all right. No, it was really good. He started to relearn his stuff in like the third game, so that's why I went to 7-6, 7-6, and then I kind of had to change something up to win my final game.
Right. Yeah, he was, it was interesting the first couple games kind of figuring each other out, and then he locked in on those cuts, he locked in on the right walls, and yeah, he was able to take that one game from you and almost took the second game too.
Oh, yeah.
Or sorry, fourth game.
It was
but-
it was a really nerve-wracking 2 games on that 6-7 to 7-6, because I don't think I was hitting my shots right, so that's how he kind of came back up.
You know, from watching it, I would say that your shots weren't bad. They just were slow. They were slow for what he, is able to calculate. Like, and his defense needed a little bit of tightening up. But I would say for you, I would say it was if you could speed up your shots a little bit, I think you'd lock down the game at this
Yeah,
point.
there has to be a fine balance between speeding up my shot and kicking it off the
Hitting
table.
I mean, that's
Right.
that's my big question for you, is because, like I've let the fans know, you and David have passed by each other like ships in the night. You guys have rarely ever played each other. I've played you a ton, I've played him a ton, but you guys have never played each other much. And so what's it like to play David? You heard the late George Anderson sing his praises, and you've heard me say that, I think he's right there for like number 2 in Idaho. I think he's like vying for the number 2 spot, if not number 1 at this point. And so what do you think about playing him for reals?
I've played David a few times on the weekly tournament. He's beaten me in a match or 2 on the tournament there, and but I still prevailed in the losers bracket. I mean, he's a tough opponent to play, obviously, but he does have a very quick whip release, as you said.
Yeah.
It's very sudden. His release is very sudden,
Yeah.
and it takes a very experienced reaction time to catch that.
Dude, his right wall unders, I was even practicing with him
Yeah.
just to warm him up today, and he did that right wall under, and I just sat there and I'm like,
I know he did a couple
What
slow
happened?
ones too. I thought he was going to do an off goal, but it was a right wall under. I was like, what?
it was good. That final point, the game that he won,
I know.
it was this super off speed right
I
wall
know, dude.
under.
I
and
thought
you
it was
just
going to an off
froze.
goal because you told
Yeah.
me a goal and that
Yeah.
it wasn't an off goal. So you lied to me.
He does the off goal game. He did it.
I lost because of Nathan.
I hope you lose the next 4 because of me too.
Dude, it's starting to smell a little weird in here, Nathan. What are you doing?
It's
What are you doing in the air?
So, we I forgot to mention, Caleb. These are the coveted metal. I don't know if you can hear that beautiful metal sound. Let's see if it comes through on the microphone. Oh, it's
yep, we hear it.
it's so good. These are
That's
heavy.
a good bronze.
This is the first place to whoever wins the Idaho State. Tonight's game really decides who wins these trophies right now, because whoever wins this game is at least top 1 or 2 in Idaho, and whoever loses this game is either 3rd or 4th. So if somebody loses this game,
Right.
the only trophy they could possibly get at that point is 3rd place or 4th place, but this is the only trophy they could get. If they win this game, they could get one of these 2 over here, which is exciting, along with $500 from the American Air Hockey League, which is really fun to be sponsoring the Idaho State Tournament. So,
Right.
going to chat to see if there's any questions for Spec. Vi asks a question. This isn't a tough question. This is like a political question when you're on the side of the person. It's like, how amazing are you? But Vi asks the question, how can Spec get any better? Cool and tough player. He could get a lot better. He could get
There's a lot of things we could say about
he
that.
can get 35 ranks better in the world. He's ranked number 36, 35,
34.
34 in the world right this second.
I was
So-
67, and then I went up to 32 because I
Yeah.
beat you, and then we dropped to 34, 35.
So whenever somebody's like, how can you get better? I'm like, I can get many places better right now. And it's a very steep climb. It's not like he just needs to, shore up one
Well,
shot.
and it's kind of like I was saying. I think right now the fastest way for Spec to get better is just to increase the speed of his calculated shots. His shots are really on point more often than not. So I would say that would be the quickest way to increase, is just having a quicker release, having a quicker shot. But his defense is pretty solid. I guess the other thing too would be getting more control of the puck. So catching the puck. I say that Nathan's catching the puck is number 1 out of everyone I've seen. And if he can get that and lock that into, that would increase a lot of his potential.
Well, that's kind of because in Texas they call him Spider Monkey.
That's
He's
it.
got that long, lanky arms, and you can go everywhere.
Oh, I
you
miss
want.
George so much. He'd always call me that, Spider Monkey. Oh man,
I think David has a really long catch too. David
Yeah,
actually,
David is very quick with his catch because he's always very
Yeah.
he's always out there.
So
So
He
that
is.
way,
He's
that's
a
because
little far.
Yeah, he has that time to move over and catch the
a question
puck.
for you, Spec. Do you notice
Right.
any of my play style in David?
He does want to copy you, so I do think he does have a little bit of flavor of you in there.
I actually really appreciate the way he's able to catch the puck. There's times where it's getting away, and I'm like, there's
Right.
no way. He's probably going to hit it, do a garbage shot, and he jumps out and steals it back. And it's like, that's impressive. Like, that's
Well,
a really
and
good
that's
catch.
and you know that's something I was gonna say. I'd say he's like second or third in catching the puck right now, David.
Right.
Which is that's one of the impressive things to do. And if he can lock that into number one, you know, he already has a pretty long control of it. I want to say that his shots weren't as on point. Like he would hit some right walls and they'd go center or they would go into
Yeah,
top
I think
goal. So I'd say
that's kind of because his nerves is kicking in.
Right.
You know, it's also on camera, so he doesn't have
Right.
enough camera time to adjust to it.
if he can get those shots locked in, I want to say that they're so quick they would be hard to defend against. So if he locks that in and he locks in his defense, I think you'll have a rough time winning this next set.
If you think so.
And speaking of next set, the next set's going to be starting in just one quick second, so I'll let this guy get ready for his next game. Spec, good luck. They asked me who I wanted to win. It's like, I want to see David win because I love the underdog story, but I want you to win so I can take back my rank from you. So you better win this one. And
What do you mean
lose
take
your
back
next
your
one.
rank?
What? My world rank.
I'm taking this trophy.
No. No.
Well, first,
You
we'll
hear
see if
this?
you can
This
take
is-
it from David.
It's down to victory, my friend. I'm gonna fill this with cold victory. It'll say tears of my opponents, and I'll drink them. All right. While this guy gets ready, I would actually like to take a quick second to talk about Legacy Garage Doors. These guys are amazing. We really appreciate every person who has believed in the American Air Hockey League and sponsored us. And these guys, the second they walked in here to fix the garage doors here, the second they walked in, they saw the tables and they said, "What's happening? What is happening in this room?" And I said, "Well, we're doing air hockey, and it's a blast." And so they want to sponsor us. Give them a call, 208-370-2747. They actually service the Idaho area, especially the Gem State area, or the Treasure Valley specifically. These guys are absolutely amazing. Give them a call. They are the best. And I really, really mean that. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It was a Friday night. I had to fix the garage. The spring broke and slammed shut, and we could not get the garage to open, let alone could we get it to close if it were to ever be open. So one of our cars was trapped in the garage. It's a long, dumb story, but bottom line, on a Friday night, I had called around a bunch of different garage door services. Most of them didn't answer. One did and said that they could come out in a few days to help us. And the last one I called, it was the last one I needed to call, answered it right away, had a person come out that night, fixed it that night, gave us discounts because of the work that had been done, even showed us every individual piece that was going to be installed and let us choose between every piece to be installed, which is just fantastic. So I really, really, really appreciate Legacy Garage Doors. Give them a call if you live in this area and need your garages done. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in to the next set.
All right, folks. Remember, grab your snacks, your Tic Tacs, and all your knickknacks, because we're going into set 2, and I believe this could be David's set if he, locks down his defense and positions those shots just a little bit more on. He could very well take it from Spec. But we'll see. Both these guys are really great players, and I would say that Peter Kai is the expected winner, but anything could happen. We've seen the underdog take the game before, and it could happen again. All right, both these players are getting ready to come back to the table. Looks like we're checking the table real quick and setting up the puck. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. There's a lot that goes into these, and we appreciate all the time and attention. Leave a comment, and who do you guys think is going to win at this point? Is David going to come out on top this next set, or is Spec?
And then you wait for a second, and you just lift straight up.
And is that when you wait between the 1 and 4 seconds?
Yeah.
And so they will just, because they don't have anything to lose, they might as well go for it. And so that's why you want to hold it up high, because they can definitely get you. And then just keep that arrow with you.
With currently everyone voting, it seems like it's a 50-50 chance. It's really interesting to see. I kind of agree with that sentiment, though. David is a tough opponent, and so is Peter. All right, looks like Nathan's cleaning off the table, making it nice and ready to go for both players.
So, go show one of the guys out there, and I'll show you how to do it.
With money on the line and trophies on the line,
David's doing very
this is a really special match we got going on here.
Yeah, we could drive real quick. Spec, we have to have those dang things muted when you guys are in office. That's awful.
All right, coming from Hey You Sam, I voted Peter. His defense can be really intimidating to go up against. Absolutely, his defense is one to copy. If you copy his kind of defense, you're gonna have a really good time on the table. All right. Both players are getting ready and headed to the table. Really looking forward to this next game. All right, here we go.
All righty. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right.
Hear you loud and clear.
Awesome.
So what do you think going into this next game? I mean, it's I feel like David, if he just tightens up that defense and hits his shots on point, I think Peter Kai could have a real tough time.
David has, I think that he gets in his head really easily. And that's very typical for, every player. The better the player, the more they get in their head. They get really upset when they let a shot through. They get really upset when they hit a shot where it's not supposed to, where it went somewhere they didn't intend. That's why they apologize. If they really are intending to hit a certain shot and hit a totally different one, they're mad at themselves, and they'll even apologize for it because it was such a bad shot, right? And so if David is able to get out of his head and just really focus on the game, I think that he is going to win this one. I really believe that he could win a set. Can he win 2 sets from Spec? I don't know. Because here's the thing. As soon as he makes that big adjustment, Spec has always come back to win the last set because he adjusts. He's very good at being a tactician. Oh, the headband's coming on. The headband is coming on.
Now we mean serious business. Kai's like, you know what? Caleb said some things, and I don't know, but I guess he's thought about it, and he's going hard on it.
I will say so. We get better angles on him. Make him quick.
Oh,
just like here we go.
I think it's interesting too that you say that. Like some of the players, they'll get upset at their shots even if they make it. If it's not an intended shot, I feel like I'm totally opposite, man. I would love to be like a drunken air hockey player and just hit every crazy shot as long as it goes in.
David quickly gets possession. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen this set because he could, right now, if he wins his first game, imagine if he 7-0'd Spec right now. How devastating that would be for Spec and how much in Spec's head he would push him. So David needs not only just to win this game, that seems like a cliche thing to say, but he needs to devastate Spec to the point where Spec gets in his own head.
Right.
Beautiful.
There we go. Beautiful right wall over, I believe. Sure enough, right wall over.
And now it's 1-1.
Beautiful cut by Spec.
David sets it up.
This time fakes the right wall, goes for a cut instead, but Spec was able to deflect it.
Ooh, goes for the forehand.
Offhand.
Yeah. I always think it's funny you call it offhand, kind of like an offhand comment. No, but they usually call it a forehand, and we were told not to use those when
Not
Texas
a
came
beautiful
out.
way.
They were like, do not ever use forehand shots. They're for like advanced players. But David practiced it. Ooh. Okay, look at, I mean, that shot, he hit it from the top left corner and hit it to a bottom right.
You know, the interesting thing that you say when you mention the forehand or offhand is that I think David has a good shot with it, but I think he has a little bit of a hard time
Ooh.
recovering once he takes the shot. So if he misses the shot, it leaves him a little bit prone.
Yes, he gets upset after a shot. You can see he takes a shot and he watches it. It's almost like somebody trying to hit a home run, right? They hit the baseball and they look to see where it goes, and that's what
Right.
in the you know the younger grades of baseball, they tell them hit the ball and run. You know, don't look at where it went. Hit it and run. Drop the bat and run, right? And so David needs
Right.
to hit the puck. And then he needs to immediately return home, is what they call it in air hockey.
His
home.
return home is a bit slower than most players.
Okay, so right there, a great example. Another garbage shot, and you can see his face. Watch after this double wall shot. Watch David's face. Watch his mallet. He throws his head
Oh,
against
no. Kai hits it off the table, or, you know, on a deflection, so it goes to David. David could take this game here.
Loses possession. David gets it back. Goes for a quick right wall. Oh, he loses it. He could have actually had that. He thought he was over. Oh no, Speck! This is a rare one where he scores on himself. The score is now 5-4. Goes for another forehand shot. Oh, look at that! It was a nice cross. It was very slow though. Deflected. Speck now kind of straggling to get back on his feet. He loses possession. You know, you don't normally see this many errors.
Oh, what a beautiful block.
They call these unforced errors, and Speck has made 2 or 3 of them, so I wonder if David's already in his head. Oh, another one! Another double wall shot!
Beautiful. Well, it actually went off of Speck's puck. It wasn't quite a double wall. It was a wall off
with
the
a
puck
forced
into
error.
his own goal.
They call that a forced error when it bounced off the mallet. A beautiful deflection. Now David has possession, and he's at game point right now. He could be taking the
Speck
first game.
is feeling the heat. I think, you know, David really took into consideration the comments left by the players on
Puck's
the
upside down.
comment section.
Yep, he gets to flip it, and now you're gonna hear the whistle for the game to be in play. And here's a shot.
David could end this first game with a win.
Goes for a right wall over, but it was missed. Goes for the cut. It's dead down the center. That was what we were
Speck
talking
with
about.
a beautiful deflect. Speck
Loses
is getting
possession.
into his zone though, but he loses possession.
David goes for that fast right wall. It's completely missed. And then he goes for the forehand. It flies off the table. Possession goes to Speck.
You can see he is in his zone, but can he make these shots connect?
We have Felix Grabmeyer in the chat right now as well. Oh, and there it is. off of the
Wow,
mallet.
beautiful force.
You can see it bounce off of the mallet on that one. If David had moved, I mean, he did a good disciplined defense, but it bounced off the mallet into the goal. David has one more
taking his
chance.
time.
He's got one more chance.
Almost forces another, but
And here
doesn't
it is.
quite.
Okay, so now is David's last chance. That was his one freebie. Speck has come back from 4 points. David cannot lose this point.
You know,
he
one
keeps
of the
it.
things I will say that David needs to do is
Oh,
he's
he
letting
loses
the
it. It's
he's getting into his own
and
head.
there
And he's letting
it
the,
is. Game 6-7.
Great
Speck
job by Speck.
Came back 4-6. He came back from that one. David just could not
Beautiful.
land an edge shot. He kept shooting in the middle.
Beautiful comeback. You know what I'd like to say about that is David, you know, he had the puck, but he kept leaving the puck in front of him and not really moving it around much. So it kind of gave Speck time to just read his shots. You know, David had a lot of time, some good shots. I think if he just moved the puck a little bit more to kind of throw Speck's defense off just a little bit more, I think he would have absolutely taken that game.
Right. I mean, it's a bummer because in that game, I'm like, David's got this. As long as he doesn't hit dead down the center, which is what I was telling him. His shots, his right wall shots and his cuts have centered up to where he's making it to where Speck only has to sit in one place to block everything. And,
Right.
and that's a bummer. I mean, he's taking the hard work out of it for Speck. He's doing a favor for Speck, right? It's almost like in tennis. When I was a kid, I was playing with my mom in tennis, and she just wanted a nice volley. And so whenever I'd hit it too far to the side, she wouldn't run after it. And so she said, no, hit it straight to me, right? Well, then later I joined the tennis team, and I had to break that habit. I kept serving the ball directly back to my opponent nicely every single time. And so they never had to run. They just stood there, and I would lose my games. And they said, why do you always hit it directly to the middle, right back to where the person is? And I'm like, well, I guess that's how I was trained, right? And that's something that David is doing right now. He's hitting every shot directly to the center. And that's the point. You should never hit to the center ever. And he knows that. He needs to hit it to the one side or the other. A player should never, ever be aiming to the middle. It's actually something that new players don't realize. They think that they should always be aiming towards the center. But pro players never aim to the middle of the goal, ever.
It's interesting you say that, because there's actually a couple times that I find hitting to the center is a good choice. And it's hard to read. And here's the couple times that I find it okay is, if you're hitting a lot of right or left walls in succession, right? So let's say you hit 3 or 4 right walls. The player on defense typically starts going more to that left wall or something. And then you make it look like you're going to hit another left wall or even a cross. And you just hit it straight down the center, and a lot of times they'll be moving already to the left or right wall.
Beautiful right wall under. It's already 1-1.
And then even if they do block it, typically it goes back to you. So hitting it down the center, I don't know if it's actually that terrible of a shot.
So we've got a lot of people watching this game right now. There's some special call-ups I want to call out because we got Felix Grabmeier. His brother has made top 10 in the world, and Felix is absolutely incredible. He actually flew out here to Idaho once. Oh, beautiful forehand. That is an amazing forehand. Check this shot out, Caleb. That's the one that, I wish I could do right there. That's a George Anderson forehand. Oh! Instant split speed right wall under.
Beautiful speed, beautiful shots.
We've got Hey You Sam in the chat too. We see you. I see it's the first time watching. I hope that you love us. If you have any ideas for us on how to make the stream better, just let us know. Ooh, nice shot from Spec there. It's now 2-4 on another forehand.
What a pit.
It seems like David, he's getting Spec on these transition shots right now, which is rare. Usually if you're playing somebody that's better than you and faster than you, your job is to slow it down. Right now, Spec is actually going slow, and David's the one speeding up the game and actually beating Spec at the fast game.
Right.
There it is again, a beautiful cut after multiple right wall unders. It's now 2-5, 3-5. Change that fast. He had Spec in the doghouse, as they call it. Being 3 points under is what they call being in the doghouse.
It's such a quick match. It's almost hard to commentate with every shot going in and in and in.
But I'm going to try anyway. Oh, look at
there
that.
There it is.
He was right there to block it.
One more goal.
It's
now game point.
Oh, 4-6. Okay, Spec has come back from 4-6 already once this set. Can he do it
again?
Well,
in last game, you could see that Spec really got into the zone. I don't think Spec is in the zone right this second. So I think David has a really good chance here to take the game.
Oh. Okay, David steals a puck. He's got 3 chances to win this game right now. He goes for a forehand. It's right down the middle. He steals possession back.
Great steal.
Goes to the right wall over. It's missed. Goes
David,
for a forehand.
You can see he's just watching these shots. David is in the zone right now.
Another forehand. It's right down the middle.
Forehand.
Oh, with the cross.
6-5. Can David lock down this game?
It's 5-6 right this second. Spec sets it up.
5-6. David has control. David goes for a garbage shot, doesn't quite get it up, and then he gets
the victory win. I apologize, the score was in the middle of the screen here, but you can see it right there with the forehand. He gets him with the forehand, that cross directly in. David wins his first game in the second set, now tying it up. It's now 1-1 game, and but it's now a tied up match.
Yeah, beautiful match here. 1-1 game, and I think we might have accidentally put it 2-1 game.
Yeah, we'll adjust that right now.
He could have done the same thing last round, but it was interesting because last round when it was 6-4, you could see Spec get into the zone and suddenly nothing got through his defense, and he just took the puck and goal after goal after goal. But Spec didn't quite get into the zone that last round, whereas David, he was in the zone. He was taking shot after shot after shot. He wasn't even holding on to the puck as long as he normally would, but he still had more time with it anyway.
Right.
Very good. Loved to see that round. If David can keep that up, he could take the set.
We've got Hey You Sam in the chat saying, Really loving the graphic transitions and broadcast elements. Audio and lighting are extremely professional too. Never realized air hockey could look this cool. We appreciate that a lot. You know, a lot of people don't realize there's actually 8 microphones in that room alone. There is one microphone built into every corner of the air hockey table. We actually put 4 contact mics in, one for each corner. There's 2 room mics and then 2 that are below the table. And so we're kind of sound nerds. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you're listening with headphones in, you could actually tell which goal the puck goes into with your eyes closed, because you'll be able to hear which side of the headphones the puck went in, right? Which is kind of fun. So I really appreciate when anybody notices that. It like makes my whole day. So really appreciate you noticing that. Thank you for the shout out there.
Well, and another thing too with that shout out is, we have other plans and things to even improve it further. But time will tell, and as things get better and better, we'll do our best to upgrade.
It wouldn't be possible without our fans, and it wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. So we appreciate both. Here comes a face-off. David's gotten first possession on almost everyone. There it is again with first possession. Oh, the puck almost flew off the table.
A little wrist there.
Oh, look at that. It's so fast. It's so fast. I don't even know if it's going to be caught on the replay. It's such a speedy shot. It almost skips frames.
Well, just like they say, he's similar to Monkey D. Luffy. I mean, he's got that rubber shot that just blinks it right in.
It's so good. Reminding any of our viewers, you actually can watch this on YouTube in a very high definition. It'll be a lot slower. It might take a minute to buffer, but we actually are filming this in high definition.
Oh, yeah, what a shot!
And then Spec throws away his serve, and then David gets it with a forehand.
Overhand. Spec is on the rim right now. I mean, Spec has got to lock this down. He is feeling the heat. David's got timing, and David, he is just taking control of this match right now.
I think David has something even more dangerous than that, and that is hope. He has a bit of hope.
He's got hope and
because
energy.
He just beat Spec in a game. He sees it's turning in his direction, and when you give somebody a little bit of hope, they can take that a very long way. Spec goes to give it back to him, trying to be nice there, I believe. David sets it up. He's now 5-1 with a cut shot.
Spec! What's he gonna do? How can he lock this game down?
He scores on himself. It's now game point 1.
He is in his own head.
Game point 1. David's just going straight for the throat. His foot is on Spec's neck right now, and he wants to finish him off.
If you had told me that David was gonna get a game like this, 7-1, I would not have believed you. And here it is, 7-1. David absolutely devastating, destroys Spec in this game.
It's incredible to see this. And like I said before, players will comment all the time, or non-players will comment and say, I could beat that guy, I could beat that guy. We've got a mess of videos. If you're ever bored, take a look at the other videos that we have posted, because you'll see that we actually go to many arcades in many different states and challenge people for money. And what we tell them, actually, Caleb, I think you might find this funny. We will tell them, I used to say, you get $100 if you beat me. If you lose, you don't owe me anything. And players, or people would just be like, no thanks. And a lot of people wouldn't take me up on it. A few would, right? But then I started saying, hey, $100 if you win. If you lose, you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And for whatever reason, having a catch made it more believable, even though I wasn't lying the first time. But if that second time, if I say you just have to subscribe, they go, oh, okay, and they all want to play. And so we play against tons of people now. They don't win. These guys make it look very easy. I don't know how many times that people are watching me play somebody else and they're making fun of the person losing, and it's their turn to play against me, and they'll say, this is really scary, or they'll say, this is a lot harder than I expected, or they'll say, this guy's really good. One lady on Saturday yelled out, she goes, how are you so professional? When I was beating her, and it was really funny. I'm like, well, because I am a professional. We are professional air hockey players. It is a thing. It's been a thing for 50 years in the world. And so a lot of us here actually have world ranks, let alone our own state ranks.
Right. Now, if you had told me, though, that David was going to do a 7-1 game against Peter Kai, I wouldn't have believed you. It's as simple as that. I mean, a 7-5 game, I'd believe that. 7-3, unlikely, but possible. But a 7-1, no. That should not have happened.
Right.
I don't know what happened that game, to be honest, because Spec should not be going 7-1 against David. Now, I expected David to win some games. I even expected it to be possibly close to where it goes to set 3. But I did not expect a 7-1. That was an absolute crazy game to see.
I was almost hoping that would happen first game. He gets first possession again. Spec is usually very good with his face-offs. Vi in the chat, she said Spec has his headband to get his secret power from, and she asked, where does David get his special power from? And at this point,
He gets it from George Anderson's praise. I mean, look at this. I see it now. I've seen David play before, and he had some good shots, some good speed, but he didn't play like he played the last round and this round,
Right.
even going into the round.
George-
His speed and his control is suddenly there. I don't know what changed, but it's there now.
actually, David's one of the last people that have seen George. George passed away last week, and it just devastated the air hockey community. And George is one of the late, great, most amazing players in the world. And David requested playing another
great
beautiful
offhand.
forehand from David. George, when George came into town, he would drive 7 hours to get here and then challenge 4 of us. And this last time he came, he said, "Who wants to challenge me?" And David said that he did. And so he did a whole challenge set against George, and has progressed so much because of it. So George, the little piece of him lives inside of David with his gameplay.
Right. All right, well, here we go. 1-1. It looks like Spec has slowed down the game, which is good because, David he was so much speed, so much control, and I think Spec recognized that and decided to slow it down this game.
There's the most mean comment I've seen. That's a beautiful transition shot from David right there. The most mean comment, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but Hey You Sam in the chat said, I'm all for underdogs. Let's get this, Peter. Which is funny because Peter is not the underdog. He's ranked number 2. His stats are way higher than David's. David is by far the underdog in this game, but it's not showing it right now.
Right. He's the underdog, yet his speed and control.
Again,
he is just coming out of nowhere.
Again, another garbage shot, and watch him. You can hear him say it. Oh, a beautiful cut. You can see him say it. You can hear him say it. That he didn't do that. Now,
that was a quick draw.
Mind you, David's got some great double balls. He should actually intentionally do them because they're working. He's gotten 3 or 4 garbage shots on Spec, so maybe he should make them intentionally.
Right.
It's now 3-4.
A slow right wall takes it. Spec is feeling that one.
Oh, that's awesome shot. Cross shot from Spec, tying it up right now. So let's make this clear. If David gets 3 more points, he's going to only be 1 game away from stealing the set. If Spec gets 3 more points, it'll now be tied up in this set, and Spec will only need 2 more to take away this entire challenge match. And there it is. He gets a beautiful
nice
cut.
shot by Spec.
Nice cut. David's going for that forehand. It's been working for him so far. Otherwise, I would suggest not to do it, but he's actually gotten quite a few forehands against Spec.
Right.
Oh, right wall over. That's one of the first overs we've
Beautiful
seen this
right
game.
wall overs.
And so an over, different from an under, is the fact that it went on the far side of the goal. Let's see if he can do that again. A lot of players will sacrifice the over and only block the under. Spec takes it back to the middle, sets it up.
Spec
Goes for the
did a
right
really
wall
great
under
job
from the top left
reading that
corner.
cut.
Look where this is at. He's shooting that from the top left corner of the map. That's called a Danny under. It's such a fantastic shot. The great Danny Hines sort of patented that shot. He said people were doing it before him. He just put a name to it. Right
Spec
now,
is really doing a great job reading the cuts coming from David.
this could be game right here. And there it is. Game 7-5 Spec. He did not want another 7-1 game. He knows that right now, if he puts his energy into these next 2 games, this whole match is over. And so he's trying to finish this as quickly as he can.
You could see that's where the experience comes in. And even though it was such a great last game with the upset 7-1, Spec comes back. He goes, you know what? It's because I was going a little over the top. I was falling into David's pace. You could see it. He was falling into David's pace. And so he was like, no, I'm not doing that this round. And you can see he slowed it down. He took back control, and he made his shots. And, that's the experience kicking in.
Right. It's so funny in these replays watching the double walls from David that he's been getting. And it's such an unintentional thing. The other day I hit a cut and I missed it by about a foot.
I vote to change Spec's name to Underdog.
I vote to change Spec's name to Underdog. We could do that. and he would be really upset. I see Matt Bentley in the chats. Matt's also been playing in this tournament, and so it's good to see you in the chats, Matt. We got Evely popping in the chats. We got Tim in the chats. We got all kinds of people popping in. I really appreciate everybody for taking the time to watch this and to support us. I'm hoping that everybody's having a blast watching this game right now. Remember, this is done live, and so the chats are live. The players will read your chats live. There's a big old screen in that room. When they turn to the left, or right, depending on which way they're standing, right behind the cameras, I should say, there's a screen there that they're able to see all the chats from the fans. And so if you have any comments you want them to read, put them in there. After the set, regardless of who wins, they both go over to the chairs and you can ask questions directly to them, and they'll answer questions live. It's a rare thing. I don't know if we'll be able to maintain it when we grow a lot larger, but at this point we're able to maintain it. So take advantage of it while we're able to ask the questions directly to the players.
All right, looks like both players are coming out. Spec looking to use a decisive. Oh, he changes his mind. He was thinking, man, I could use this against David and throw him off his game with the Luffy hat. But he decides not to do that.
It's the age-old question of, in wrestling they get their different costumes and such, and so we've played around with the idea, but it's like we want to keep it as professional as we can. And so the big question, I'll ask this to the chat, where's a line between awesome and goofy, right? Where's a line between professional and non-professional? And have we already crossed it? Should we cross it? Do we dare cross the line?
It makes me think of like the one kid in class who's funny. As long as he can get away with anything because he's funny, but then like the kid who's not funny doesn't get away with it. So as long as you make it funny enough to where everyone actually enjoys it, you can get away with it.
Deal.
All right,
David,
here we go.
First possession for the umpteenth time, and then immediately transitioned into his own goal by Spec. Fantastic play. Ooh, David loses his mallet.
Is focused. I've never seen Spec so focused before. Look, look at his positioning, his lean. He is focused on this match. He wants to take this match
and
not give nothing back.
That's 2 in a row.
Can David focus up though and take it from him?
David goes for the forehand.
Goes for an offhand.
Goes again, a forehand left wall.
Beautiful
over.
Left wall. Spec is going to answer him with a right wall. Doesn't quite connect. Spec does another fake right wall.
That's his new shot. I didn't want to say much because I didn't want to ruin the surprise, but he's been working on that shot for weeks now. I absolutely hate it. I think it's garbage, and he loves it a lot.
I think it would be great if he could speed it up.
That's the thing. That's why
he could speed it up and not telegraph it so much.
That's why he's practicing it. But I will say, whenever him and I are practicing, if it's like 6-6, he will try so hard to make the final point that shot, and it usually ends up falling into his own goal because he slowly gives it to me.
I will say this.
Nice cross.
When it comes to air hockey, I will say this. I think you should focus on one shot for a long time and then focus on another shot for a long time. And it's kind of like an anime where, you got that old person telling the young, Padawan or, the sensei, just practice that one sword move, just a regular chop. But then they practice it 10,000 times and suddenly nothing can stop that chop because of how much effort and time they put into that one motion.
Right.
It's the same thing with air hockey. If you practice a shot, perfection, sure, once they know that shot's coming, they'll block it. But you practice 1 or 2 or 3 of those shots, and then suddenly you have enough shots to be diverse, and you just hit those shots every time. You know where the player's going, and that's all you need.
A lot of what you're talking about right now is what they call muscle memory, and in air hockey, it's I believe it's a roughly 70% of the game. And let me make more sense of that. Oh, see, there you go. Spec just tapped on his goal, if you could hear that. So he just did a garbage shot, and he called himself on it as well. You can see this shot here. It goes a double wall in. He taps on his goal, and you can see him tapping on his goal. That was him apologizing because he did not mean for that to happen. Oh, no, David, let's go over it. Oh, no!
Beautiful transition shot by Spec. Spec is starting to really get a read on David. David is not he's telegraphing again.
He's shooting in the middle of it. Is shooting in the middle of the goal again. Watch this shot. Let's see if he can aim it towards the edge. And it's right to the middle. If you see that, it was right in the middle of the goal again.
And you can just see Spec is really. I mean, look at Spec's stance right now.
Just rock
You know,
solid.
He is locked in, rock solid. And then as soon as he goes offense, he changes his stance. But when he goes back into defense, you'll see he gets this very concentrated look and defensive stance.
So that
There it is,
muscle
right there.
memory part.
There it is.
Oh, and he hits it off the table. That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Loses possession. So that muscle memory part. I've asked a lot of pro players, what do they think is more important in air hockey? Is it where does your skill come from the most? Is it your arm or is it your head? And a lot of them at the very start. Oh, look at that fake out
Great
to the back of the mallet cross shot. Look where Spec hits this from his mallet. It's just on the side of it. Beautiful shot. Now it's 3-5.
Cut.
But basically, they said 70% of the game is in their arm. Their arm does the work for them. They're not even thinking half the time because it's muscle memory at this point. Oh, 4-6 now. Can David pull a Spec, and can he bring it back from 4 points? Oh, he goes for that fake out on the 6 points. You can see Spec
David is
smile.
starting to get into the zone. You can see David is zoning in, but then he loses his zone control. Let's see if David can get back into the zone here.
Oh, and he goes for the off goal, and Spec expected the off goal, stole it from him again, 2 times in a row now. David gets it back though. This is just back and forth. They're both stealing it from each other. Once again, stolen again. And stolen again. David sets up for the shot, goes for the cut. It's missed, goes straight down the middle. Oh, it almost went in the goal. And
David
right
hanging
wall
on by a
over.
thread.
It's now 5-6, and game 7-5, and
There it
Spec
is.
takes the third
7-5.
game, which now means that Spec.
We are going into possibly the final
Oh,
game.
it's so good. Spec only needs one more game now. He only needs one more game to take this entire challenge match. And that will put Spec in number 1 or number 2, depending on how his game goes against me at the end of this bracket. And it will put David against Josiah for 3 or 4 in Idaho, depending on who wins that game. That's going to be a crazy game because I've seen David and Josiah play a ton at the arcade together. And, in the past, David really had the advantage on Josiah, but recently Josiah has been able to beat David, so it's really a toss-up. Josiah's also been practicing, and David's been taking the last few weeks off, so it's really anyone's game. That's going to be most likely our closest match. This game right here, I've said so far, is going to be one of our closest matches in our bracket for the Idaho State Tournament, but I believe Josiah versus David and Spec versus me are also going to be very, very, very close matches.
One of the things I would say is very interesting. David has such a great quick release, quick shots, but I want to say if he got better at like what you do with your drift shots, if he got that in, he would do a whole lot better. Because I want to say when he has it sitting there in the middle for such a long period of time, better players like Kai and yourself can read where it's going to go when he waits. But if David can lock in a drift shot, it'd be a whole lot better.
I agree with you. You said this thing the other day. You called it air strafing. When the player's drifting the puck back and forth, they just call it drifting. In fact, I just say it accidentally at this point. They call it drifting when they're moving the puck back and forth, getting ready for a shot. And you called it air strafing, and I think that might stick. I love that, air strafing. So this last game here, Caleb, what do you expect the scores to be at the end of this next game? Does David pull it to game 7, or does Spec take it 4-2?
Man, it's hard to say. So Spec has some breathing room, so he could take it all and just play his slow game, get the win, call it good. Or he could try to go for a blowout game, put all his intensive energy into it, and try to 7-0 David. Probably isn't going to happen, and he's probably not going to risk it, but it's possible. Now, with David, all he has to do is lock in, on his defense. If David locks in on his defense and he gets his strafing in, he could absolutely destroy Spec in this next game.
Agreed.
So I would love to see David catch up and, get some strafe shots in, or, just lock him down.
Agreed. I want to give a shout out to my crew. Especially after I yell at them all the time. I want to give a shout out. I got Josiah in the booth. He's been taking over. When Spec is playing, just know that we are all hurting because Spec is the one who normally runs all of the back end to everything. He's a technological genius. He does an amazing job, and so we run around like crazy. So if you notice anything buggy with our system, it's definitely on us. It's because Spec.
That's why we call him Mr. Universe.
Yeah. And so we got Josiah taking over. We got a mess of people that make today happen. So thank you to all the people that are helping run this today. We got people running cameras. We got people running the sound. We got people running different the scoring and reffing the games and starting the games, as you can see there.
And thank viewers for being able to share these moments with us in these games. I mean, it's really a pleasure.
Do us a huge favor, like and subscribe. That helps us a ton. If you haven't subscribed yet, and if you're one of those people like me that didn't know that what subscribing actually does, not only does it let you know when there's going to be a game that goes live, and it kind of gives you a notification if you choose to have it notify you, but it also helps YouTube to know that people like this type of entertainment, and they will actually boost our channel and we'll get more views, in which case eventually we could even start getting paid, which would be amazing if we could start getting paid for this. So please, subscribe,
and with
like,
a little
share.
bit of the more money that comes in, the better the viewing, the better the equipment, the better, for the players, and the thing will grow, and that's what we like to see.
Right. Putting on a live production
Speaking
is
of
very
growing.
hard. We have to do this live. Oh, this is a beautiful right wall shot. We don't get to, we don't record this and make it all pretty for later. There's no editing being done. This is all done live on the spot. In fact, we have an 8-second buffer to YouTube. So if we say something wrong or do something wrong, it goes out there. We don't even have a safety net. Oh, that was in the goal, and it came out of the goal. We should be sponsored by In-N-Out Burger after that shot.
David's really getting Spec into his pace. I think David could take this game. If David could keep the pace up and make Spec fall into his pace, he could take this game. David's slowing it down, though. And generally slowing it down is a good thing, but against Spec, you don't want to slow it down. You want to keep it sped up.
It's right now so close. Matt Bentley is bummed that we didn't read his comments.
Unfortunate we missed it, because this is possibly the last game of the session. This could right now.
Okay, look at that shot.
Is going
Watch
to play
Spec's
against
mallet.
first place.
Look at his disciplined defense. He was expecting it straight, and he barely moved at all. He only moved an inch over, which is actually the right way to do it. He's been blocking all of David's center shots, but that wasn't a center shot. It was actually a perfect right wall under. Spec now ahead again. Oh, that was a missed shot. He barely tipped that. You can see him apologize for that one too. It was a beautiful shot though. He went for the shot and just barely clipped it for a beautiful. That, out of all the shots so far, that left wall over was the best shot I've seen David do tonight. I actually don't think it was an accident. After seeing that replay, he clipped it so sharp it looked like it was going to be a right wall.
If I was in David's position, I'd get control of the puck, I'd call timeout, and I'd put on the hat. And then I'd come back to the table and absolutely destroy Spec. What do you think, Nathan?
I think that, first off, he just got a timeout right there because Spec hit it off the table. Remember, the players have 7 seconds to get it across the line. So if you're wondering how long they're allowed to keep it, they have to get it across the line within 7 seconds. If they get it back, they can get 7 more seconds. It's now 4-3. Spec is 3 points away from closing out this entire challenge match. He gets possession back again. I do agree with what you're saying. There hasn't been a single timeout called. You're correct. David should call a timeout.
Can Spec take this game and end the series right now? Or will David pass back up and bring it in to a game 5?
There it is. It's now 2 points away. 6. David needs to be able to block that cross. Spec gets it back again.
Offhand, but straight down the center.
Spec right now, and there it is. It's now match point to 4. Spec only needs 1 more point to close out this entire match and kick David into the 3-4 bracket.
For an offhand, will Spec use a tricky move? He will, but it doesn't quite connect. Will Spec go for a second tricky move? No, he doesn't quite. He goes for the off goal, goes for a third off goal. Now he goes for a straight shot, doesn't quite connect. Rejected, goes for
almost went in.
Doesn't quite connect. David takes his chance to hit a lot of quick shots.
And then
he's
he
gonna
gets
go
the cut.
active. Gets it, 6-5.
6-5
Spec coming back onto the field, slows it down.
Spec wants to close. He goes for the
fake.
I told you that fake shot. He tries it at the 6 points. He gets all cheeky.
David going for his right wall, goes for his offhand. David once again.
Does he tie it
control.
up? No.
Goes for his cut.
He ties it up.
He goes for his offhand. Can he take this game?
It's now 6-6.
Goes for an offhand.
Oh, and David gets it back.
Goes-
Oh, he loses
David
it.
down,
He loses
he
it.
loses it.
Oh, this
Very
is too
intense
close.
moment. Spec slows it down. Takes
Oh!
another great shot.
Okay,
David
timeout.
gets
David
control.
should call a timeout right now. Oh, he goes for the shot, and
Goes for
it's
a shot,
deflected
doesn't
right
quite
down the
make
middle. Gets it back.
Gets it back though. David,
sets it up,
can he
right wall,
take this goal?
deflected.
Bounces off. The heat is on. Legacy Garage Doors. Your heating company.
Right.
I don't know where we're going with this,
Right
but
now,
we're
heating
going
condition.
somewhere.
Spec sets it up.
Peck has control. Takes a shot. Doesn't quite make it. David, he is just waiting. He gets control, but loses control, but he gets it back. Now he goes to the
For
right
final
wall.
point.
No, he
This
goes
could-
for a
this
cut.
could be it right here. The final point. Now, mind you,
Spec.
all David has to do is block one shot and keep the puck to win this match. Can he do it, or is Spec going to take this away? No.
The longest rally we've seen all night. Who's gonna get this last?
Okay, David gets it back. And then he just lets go of it.
Goes
No,
for the right
set
wall.
that thing up. Okay, set it up,
And right
David.
back.
Set it up. Set it up.
Slows
set
it down.
up. He sets it up.
Takes it to the center.
It's right down the middle
Doesn't quite
again.
connect. Spec gets it once again. How long will this rally go?
Oh, okay. David gets it back.
Doesn't quite make it.
Oh, come on, David.
Both
Come on,
players
David. I'm rooting for
just
David right now.
what?
I've got the underdog syndrome. I have to apologize, but I hope he wins this. So come on, David. Set this up. He can't hear me, but I wish he could.
He's going so slow on those right walls. He's
He goes
trying
for
to
the
get
cut. He
Spec to
loses
move so he can get the
control
cut.
again. He's lost possession so many times at this point.
Spec
Again, he
doesn't
loses
quite
it.
make the
No.
shot.
Spec. He's gonna
both
He's gonna win
players.
it right here. Spec's gonna
He's
take this
slowing it
match.
down.
Nope. Gets deflected.
David, he is just not sure how to land this goal. He
Beautiful
almost
catch.
gets it with a deflect shot there.
Okay.
Saved it once again. David goes for the right
He's
wall,
so
but
mad
loses
right now.
it.
David is so upset at himself right now. You can see it on his face. Oh, he almost
Both
stole that
players
back. Okay.
Just absolute geniuses. What's gonna go?
Okay,
What's
there
gonna
we
happen?
go. Do you see how he's doing off goal now?
He's taking the slow time.
2 off goals.
He gets.
David's
Spec
setting him
to
up,
push out.
and he takes
He
it.
gets
He gets
it!
a win.
7-6 in the
Bring it.
longest rally we've ever seen. Almost 5 minutes long at 6-6. And finally, David slows it down for the cut, gets it in.
That was
Oh,
a fantastic.
what
it's now,
a transitional
It's going to go to game
game.
7. David needs to win one more game to bring it into his first set win. The question now is, can he do it? I mean, all he had to do was that in the
You
first
know,
place. He kept
it's like
letting it
it's,
go.
It's just like this. You know, Spec is a rain coming down in a forest, and Spec is sitting there with his 2 sticks, and finally he sees a spark, and he has a chance to take this game. Will he take it, or will the flood of Spec come down and wash out his
I
flame?
think what's going to happen is Spec is going to crush him. So here's the thing with Spec. If I know Spec like I do, he will put every ounce of his everything, his entire soul. I mean, he even just made a new shirt yesterday or 2 days ago that said my soul, or my mallet is my soul, is what he has. He has a shirt that says my mallet is my soul. And he's going to put all of his soul into this next game. I hate to say this, I actually am expecting a 7-3 or a 7-4 next game with Spec in the lead. That's my vote, because I've seen Spec be in this position before where he realizes if he lets David win one game, just if he lets David get to 7 points, it's going to
Momentum will switch.
force him into an entirely new set. One last
Absolutely.
set. And Spec doesn't want that to happen. I've been in Spec's shoes. When you're at this point, you just want the game to be over. Whereas David, once again, has the very dangerous thing called hope on his side, where now he sees the hope. I almost hope for David's sake that he does win this, because there's no bigger letdown than getting to that 7th game and then getting crushed. But I bet you anything right now that Spec is going to go into overtime and absolutely demolish Spec in this game, or demolish David in this game.
It's really great to see this match be so close. I don't think I've seen anyone else bring Spec this close to defeat except for you, Nathan. And so I really love seeing how far David has come. And he has this chance, this one opportunity to take this game and bring it to a set 3 where he could potentially go up against Nathan Buss for first.
We've got another top 10 member in our chat right now. We've got Connor Cummings in the chat. Connor, thanks for popping in here. It's always fun to have the world's best in here. You know, Idaho, the highest that we've ever ranked. At one moment in time, one of the players got to top 12 it was for like 1 day, and then immediately got knocked to like 14 or 15. And that's the highest Idaho's ever been. So top 10 is a dream that one day we're hoping to get to. And I can see that David's on his way, and so is Spec.
I'm thinking that California might have to just try out one of these days and see if they can actually grab a couple good places too.
You know, California doesn't have many players. There's actually a arcade in Santa Monica that I go to. It has 8 air hockey tables. They're all Dynamo. Most of them play pretty well. And I go there with my $100 in hand, and I challenge the players there, and they don't get that into it. One of the arcade employees, I played against him and crushed him. I came back a year later, and he was like, "It's you. I've been practicing," and he did much better. So I'm like, I'm really hoping to start something there. It's a shame because they have 8 tables. Let me put it this way: most arcades have 0 to 1 table, and usually it's not a Dynamo table, which is the preferred table to play on. It's the sanctioned USAA table. But not just that. They never have tournaments or anything. And this arcade in Santa Monica on the boardwalk has 8 tables, and they don't do tournaments. I don't understand it. And they don't even have any good players. It's not like I ask around, do you know anybody? I ask the employees, do you know anybody who's really good? You have to have somebody that's good. You have 8 tables here. Nope. Only casual.
I guess it's just a lot of fun casuals, and you know they're making their quarters off the tables. I guess I don't know. That's an interesting thing.
We're now about to walk into what could be the very last game in this match, or could be the start to a third set.
You know what's funny, Nathan, is I actually have a really bad cold and sore throat and everything else, but this game has just been so exciting to watch and to commentate. And so even with this cold, I am just so stoked to see and commentate this.
Well, I appreciate you, remoting in. Caleb is remoting in for this commentary from California. So I'm on site, but he is not. Oh, right while under. And here it comes. I'm telling you, Spec is going to. I think he's going to cut the snake off at the head in this case. Oh,
no!
That was
the quickest offhand you will ever see!
That was so good!
That is a highlight reel if I've ever seen one.
We didn't even catch it. It was too fast to catch. That was so good. David's not going to go down without a fight. It's tied up, but I'm telling you, Spec is going to win this round. If I had to bet money, if I had that Oh, it's a cut!
Oh! Spec doesn't know how to react to this speed.
Spec sets it up.
That is incredible by David.
He's caught. He gets possession back. Goes for that right wall under. Deflected. Sets it up again.
You know it's fast when the replay can't even catch it. I mean, it's just incredible the speed that David has. I don't know. It's interesting because it's like he's a whole new person in the second set. And, I'm loving what I'm seeing coming from David right now. He has got the tempo. He has got the momentum. He is taking
almost
shots.
won his goal. He stopped from going
even
in.
when he makes a shot that doesn't quite go where he wants it to, he gets it back.
Right.
And he gets control and takes another quick shot. And it's just so hard. Spec, he has a great defense, but it's hard for Spec to grab control of the puck.
He's got great possession time this game, and you can see it. Spec is watching it close. You can see that cross.
Is this gonna be another blowout for David?
There's no way. There's no way I'm losing this. My pride and word are on the line. It's definitely not a blowout game, that's for sure.
It might be just moving with the tempo. I don't know. Spec really needs to get some energy in there. He's not in his position.
Oh, scores on himself.
Goal anyway.
Okay, but here's the thing. I didn't want to have to talk about this because I was hoping it would just be, a quick match. But if it goes into that third set, I have a lot of fears for David because David, at many of the weekly tournaments, when it comes time to those late games, when he's made it all the way to the very end, he's at the very end of the tournament for the very last game, and he usually starts getting tired and saying, "Hey man, I'm just really tired," and he loses a lot of his energy. And so my fear for him is he going to, if he wins this game right here, it's a beautiful retaliation from Spec. If David wins this, will he be able to have energy for the next set? And I don't know. Spec now playing the cut game.
I've been in the same position too, where a game will go just so long that I'm just ready for it to end.
Right.
And so David's young, and that happens a lot with the younger guys. Is they may they're just like, we're ready to end this game. So we'll see though. David, he is a lot of energy this match.
Right.
If he can win this game and bring it into the third set, he could have a chance.
There it is. It's
This is it.
set point
Match
to 4.
point.
It's not match point. I said match point incorrectly because Spec had match point when he was at 6 points, but right now it's set point to 4. If Spec gets 3 more points, this whole match is over. If David gets 1 point, we go to a third set, and Spec can take this whole match. Or David can take the whole match for that matter.
I mean, David, he just has these offhands that are just so quick. Will he get this cut? Will he get the offhand?
Spec
or
has
will
come
Spec
back.
lock it down?
Spec has come back from 4 points before, and will he do it
David,
again?
with more control, he grabs the puck, he takes it to the middle. What's he gonna do?
gets
He's
it
gonna
back.
fake and go for an off wall.
Off goal.
Then he's gonna take it
Right
again.
wall under
goes
it.
for the right
Oh,
wall,
almost went
and
in.
almost sneaks it in, but Spec reads it and deflects
Pulls it back,
Spec
and
takes
Spec
his
gets
time,
the cut.
Gets a beautiful cut. 6-5.
6-5.
Can he
Goes for an
shut
off goal. Goes
Spec
for an off
down?
goal.
Or will Spec take
David's
everything?
getting real antsy. He's going real fast. Spec wants to close this down. Oh, it's deflected. Possession goes to Spec because it was a defensive
David
block.
is a man in a storm, yelling at the storm. Will he be able to conquer the storm, or will the storm shut him down?
I think the storm's
Spec
coming,
right now.
and the storm is coming.
He's
It's now match point,
66,
game point.
Match point, game
Oh!
point. But David
And he
gets
gets
there.
it with the
He
forehand
does it.
shot.
He takes it to the third set.
Oh! Watch this.
Oh.
On the serve. I would normally say never to do that, but he slaps it down, acts like he's not going to hit it, and just look at the jump that Spec does, not expecting, completely caught him off guard, and
Spec
throws
is
this
still
into a
the
third
tension
set.
Now, he thought he was about to shut him down, but David climbs
Oh,
his way
my goodness.
onto the mountaintop
Ah.
and yells past the storm, says, "You can't take me down
I've said
yet.
this before.
I am still here."
We should be sponsored by a heart medication because after that match,
Oh, the amount of heart attacks and strokes. I'll tell you what.
we should have a waiver that our fans have to sign.
You know, I started this match with a cold, and now I'm heated up. The cold is gone.
I thought you were gonna say. I started this match with the cold, and I'm gonna end it with the cold as well. So I'm gonna mosey on out there. Do the kids say that these days? Mosey.
You know,
Is that word lost?
whether they do or don't, I need you to get out there and ask them some questions because, I mean, both those players have got to be thinking and, you know, the tension going on that field. I mean, I can't wait to see their you know, how they're feeling, the reactions there. I mean, I don't think Spec expected David to take that set. So I'm really looking forward to how both these players are going to react.
Hey, take a second. All of our fans, I would love it if you would share this, subscribe, like it, and then also commenting is a blast because the players are going to see that right now. If you want to ask David a question, if you want to ask Spec a question, if you have any random thoughts, if you have any advice, especially because we have got a lot of top 10 pros in the chat right now. If you have advice for either of these players, throw it into the chat, and then we will read it out to them. They can see that live.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Tim's comment here. Apparently, he does not need the hat. You know, he has his own devil fruit powers, and he was able to take this game and take the set. Wonderful job by David. Loved seeing the speed of his shots, the control, the ability to take back the puck. Spec is such a great player, and to be able to get these shots on Spec, to be able to take more time and more control of the table, it's really incredible to see. Both players doing excellent jobs, and I'm really curious to see how set 3 turns out. All right, it looks like Nathan is on the couches, on the chairs there, waiting for the players to sit down, and we'll have some conversations here. Think of some questions that you guys would like to ask these players, getting involved in the air hockey community. And, if you guys would like to also play, that's a good question to ask Nathan.
I do. Top
and
of my desk.
be a part of
left
these
side top
tournaments.
There should be
See
an
where you
appetizer
place.
in there.
Can you
Yeah, or
come in
second,
here
third
and
below
take
that.
first
It'll be in the
place,
corner of
take the trophy, the money on the next tournament?
Oh man.
All right, Nathan.
Sorry about that. It's so, we got so many people here and there's so many things going on. It's so fun if you've ever been to a baseball game or football game or hockey game live, it's way different than watching it on TV. And so when you're actually here in the room, I don't want to be weird by just saying it, but there's an energy in the room right now. There's a lot of people that are really excited. Everyone's really pumped up. And it's fun to have so many people over here. So we're going to be getting the players over here in just a second. Make sure to take a moment, and you should. I should talk like this. Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's better.
I know my microphone hates me. We've switched up our microphones. You should see all the different, things that we've been through. We used to
seems
run
like
on
every
webcams. That's what's so fun.
Every Monday it changes, and that's great, because if you aren't willing to change, adapt, get better, and improve, then, even as a player, you're not going to get first place if you're not willing to improve, and it's same thing with, setting up the shoutcasting and these lives. You got to continuously advance, upgrade, and expand and try new things. And, this is just such a great, air hockey league to watch here in Idaho.
If anybody else also is, oh man, I'm just gonna have to hold it. I'll hold it. I'll be cool and hold my microphone. If anybody else is in this area and wants to compete in the Idaho State Tournament, especially for next year's tournament when we get that one started, let us know. Drop a line in the comments. We hang out at Jeremy's Arcade in Nampa, and we do that weekly on Sunday nights at 5 o'clock, and they're a blast. And it's just where we get a lot of our practice. It's also where we find a lot of new players, and it's always really fun because a lot of people do not realize that air hockey is a world sport and has been for 50 years. So without further ado, I think we're going to have David jump over here. Get your comments ready. You can start throwing them in the chat right this second, and we'll ask him live how he feels about how that game went. You might just want to hold the mic, too, because, there you go, buddy. There you go. Cables, right?
All right.
David, there was this one offhand shot you did. Was the fastest, most incredible offhand I have seen to date. How do you feel? Do you remember that shot even?
He's talking about the first goal of the last game. Not the last goal, but the very first one you made. It was so good.
I don't remember that.
It was so quick, you don't even remember doing it. Incredible. All right, so going forward, how are you feeling? I mean, what a great upset. You came back, you took the set. How are you feeling?
I'm happy I beat Spec in a set, at least. I hope the next set goes a little smoother.
I actually lost a lot of bets with myself because I said that, Spec's not going to let this go in the next set. He wants to crush you. He sees that you're a threat, and so he's just going to crush him. And I even said before that last game, I'm like, Spec's going to win this last game 7-4, 7-3. There's no way that Spec's going to come back and win, or there's no way David's going to come back and win because Spec is going to crush him right now. And then you just came out of nowhere, tons of energy, and you pushed him to a 6-4. He brought it back 6-6, and he'd already won a 6-4 against you once, where you let him get back and win the game. But you took that win. That serve was crazy. I normally would say never do that. That serve is supposed to only be for like a 6-6 point, and you did it at a 6-6 point. And even the replay, even watching the replay, I'm like, when's he going to serve it? Like, when's he going to hit that fast shot? Because it looked like you were just like chilling, and you stuck it on the table, and you didn't even like look until the last second. You looked down, and you smashed it, and he jumped. I mean, you could see from the replay. I'm not a Fortnite guy, but what's that dance they do where they kick the legs up like a dork?
I'm not a Fortnite guy.
Well, he did that dance. When that puck went into his goal, he like jumped up. It was really funny. Great shot. I mean, the game right before that 6-6 went so long.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way you were going to get this, but then you kept stealing it from him. Then I'm like, there's no way Spec's going to get this, and he kept stealing it from you. But on that one, as soon as it hit 6-6, it's like, oh no, here we go. Let's buckle in for a long ride. And it was just instant speed.
I don't know how long that was, but it felt like 5 minutes where you guys were just back and forth. That being said, I want to say, David, when you were able to draw Spec into your tempo, into your speed, you were able to take control of the table. So great job there. Love to see it. Maybe keep that up.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
What are you... I mean, one thing I already mentioned is that, at the arcade, sometimes when it gets later, you run out of energy. How are you feeling energy-wise for this next set?
I think I'm doing good because the first one, I kind of preserved it a little bit because I didn't know how to play Spec. But now I've just kind of developed a way to play against him, I guess. But it does use more energy.
Who do you think's going to win this next set?
I honestly do not know, but I think it will be at least sort of close. So
it's already close, man. Like, that's the thing. That's what's so fun because he's never played against you much. You've never played against him much. And so it's fun to actually see that. You always make a guess. You know player styles, right? You see players at the arcade and like, that person's style and that person. in air hockey, it's not, well, because that guy can beat, just because this guy can beat number one and I can beat that guy means I can beat number one. It doesn't always work that way. It's all about style, right? But the thing is, this game, you guys both have a very similar style. You both have the cut cross, or the cut right wall under combo. He actually has a bigger arsenal than you do, but you've been able to block so many of his shots. I still will say, the one piece of advice for you from me is you're still getting a lot of those center shots. A lot of shots are going mid. He's just sitting there in the middle and blocking your cut and your right wall under. And when you get the right wall under a tiny bit over more, it is scoring on him. And he's just sitting there, and it will go right past him, and so does the cut. Get your cut a little to the left, and your right wall under a little to the right, and you're solid.
I had only one piece of advice going forward, too, is I noticed that you do like to bring it to the middle and kind of let it slow down. I'd say try to make it a strafe shot or a air dribble shot. So, keep the puck kind of moving when you take your shot, if you're able to do that, because he reads as soon as you bring it to the middle, just sit there for a while. It gives him so much time to read your shot.
All right.
Other than that, it's amazing. I think you could take this next set, and potentially go up against Nathan for the finals. So, just lock it in, lock in that defense, and lock in those shots.
All right, thank you.
Matt pointed out a really good point in the comment section. This is not just for the Idaho, tournament. This is for world rank. If you beat Spec in this next set, you take his world rank. You will outrank Spec in the world, and you will outrank me in the world. You'll be ranked as number 34 in the world. I'll have to double check because people have different matches
pressure
right now. Yeah. I mean, honestly, there shouldn't be pressure. Now, you've been chilling out and you've been doing a really good job, so keep that in mind. But just to know that, and we've already said it before that Spec, he has his headband that gives him his special power, but your special power is hope, and you had a little bit piece of hope, and when you started seeing that you could beat him, you started to crush him. It's really in the chat we got somebody saying that apparently David does not need the hat. We also have Vi asking if you're getting tired or getting fired up. So right now, you think you're getting more fired up? You said sound like you preserved it. So you're ready for this next set?
Yeah, I am getting both at the same time, tired and fired up.
He's getting tired and fired up. Let's go. Awesome. Anything that you want to add about that set that you want to talk about?
Not really, honestly.
Okay. All right, man. Well, then, without further ado, I'll send Spec over here. Thank you so much, David. Good luck on your game, man. I'm going to be so bummed if you beat him, because then I wouldn't be able to take my world rank back from him. It'd be taking it back from you if I were able to beat you. But at this point, I'm more scared of you than him. So I'm still rooting for Spec at this point, but I don't know. At this point, man. Good luck, bro. It's so fun because in air hockey, what a lot of the players say, what makes it so special compared to other sports, is the fact that you need your opponent to be good to be able to get better. You require an opponent to destroy you to be able to play well. It's rare. Usually you want your opponents to be bad. You want to just crush them all and win. But in air hockey, your opponent is so necessary. So usually you're best friends with the person that's best against you because you need each other to get better. As soon as
and it's like you say, the good rivalry. I mean, in any video game, in any real life, having that rivalry. And some people, they're able to do it without a rivalry. They're able to just beat their own records. But having a rivalry generally brings you both up.
Agreed.
So
Spec's gonna get his mic on here in a second. Actually, I would say that's just holding at this point. But Spec, Matt pointed out that it's not just that this trophy right here is up for grabs right now, but also your world rank is on the line, and David now has a shot at it.
Well, I'm taking off all my limiters.
You're limited.
Oh,
it might be a quick set.
Oh,
that sounds.
I seen you had a couple of those ankle weights, and you dropped them off, and so you're ready to go into this next match. I understand what's going on. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this next match between you and David. How do you feel about that last match? I mean, it was close. It was neck and neck. You had both me and my brother screaming at you guys. I mean, absolutely incredible. You were like a storm that David had to fight with. He was just a glimmer of light, and he chased it. Barely managed to beat the storm. But how do you feel going into the next set?
Well, it was really fun testing David's limits. I think once we go into the next set, he will go I think he will proceed to go past his limit right after this whole match, and that's how you grow. Basically, it's through challenge matches with
Right.
higher level players. So his improvement, from what I've heard from Nathan and what I've seen from the weeklies, is a testament to what all of Idaho air hockey should, strive for.
I've been saying that for a while now. I'm like, David's getting better. Expect your reaction because you haven't played him. You're like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, he's really doing good. And you're like, I don't know. And so there is a really evil part of me that wants him to win just so I could be like, see? Because David's doing absolutely amazing. He's gotten second and first at a chunk of those Idaho weeklies. And so he's
There's
doing a
just
fantastic
some
job.
shots. So Spec, how are you gonna control his offhand quick shot? I mean, I've seen it a couple times now where he hits this shot and you can't even react to it. I can't even react to it. It's incredible. How are you gonna put up a defense against this shot?
I think I'm coming around to his forehand. He sets it up really specifically, and it's always in the drift.
But he doesn't. But he's got two forehands going. He's got a left wall forehand, and he's got the cut and cross forehand. He's done both against you. So the question now is, how are you going to block both the cut, cross, and left wall under from the forehand? Tell us so that way.
So just like I gave David some advice, I want to give you one piece of advice too. Don't fall into David's tempo. Remember to take control of it, slow it down, and do your thing.
Well, the thing is, I could keep up with David. It's just that, like, I just have a little bit of trouble with timing.
So that's what I find incredible is that he was able to push you in a fast game, and you should, by all rights and means, beat him at the fast game. And at one point, he was beating you at the fast game. Normally, the player that can't handle the fast game as much as the other player has to slow it down, and you were the one slowing it down. He was the one speeding it up.
I think it's because he plays you a lot in the weeklies, so he's adapted to your fast play style.
Absolutely,
but he does pretty good. Like every time he makes a shot, I'm like, that's my boy at this point. So all right, well, without further ado, actually I should check to see if any good questions have come in here. We got a Moog that popped into the chat, so it's fun to see. Yeah. Also,
what do you say?
He said, "What? Are you serious?" So, Matt's making fun of you, Spec, also in the chat. And that's basically what's going on right now in the chat. I'm very excited about this next set. So without further ado, we'll pop back into it and not let anybody wait any longer. I think that both players have had a quick second to rest up. The actual rules are that they get 7 minutes in between a set, or 10 minutes in between each set. And so I think we're right at time right now to pop in. You can see the match odds, 56%, 44%, and that's according to all the games they've played equaling metrics. And so pulling off the metrics, that's what it looks like right now as per all the games they've won, all the matches that they've lost, all compiled together. And so it's actually, if any of you are number nerds out there, you would love to see the metrics that get pulled in behind these games.
What's the poll at right now?
The poll at right now is at David's at 43% and you're at 57% in the poll. If you haven't taken part of the poll,
matches the matchup.
It almost exactly matches the matchup, yes, by like 1 point. And so if you haven't taken a chance to take part in the poll, throw some comments in the chat, share this with your friends, and we're going into the last set right now. This is the moment. If you haven't shared this with your friends, we're about to go into the final set. Someone is going to win this and someone's going to lose this, and this is the moment to share it with your friends and get them to say and be like, especially if this is your first time popping in, and share this and say, hey guys, this is crazy. Air hockey is an actual thing. I had no idea it was an actual thing. Watch their reactions. It's really quite fun. So without further ado,
and that's the greatest thing about it is, there's a lot of casual players out there who, you were a kid growing up. You went to your bowling alley or you went to your arcade place. You went to maybe a bar to play pool, whatever, and you had air hockey tables there. And you grew up playing air hockey for fun with your friends, and you never knew that there was a next level. And this is that next level, and you can really get in here, have a great time, and progress to become a better player, have a chance at winning trophies and money. It's just a lot of friends, the community. A lot of these players are really cool people, really great to get along with. So, if you're looking for a great community, a fun game, a fun place to go, and enjoy, air hockey, this is the way to go. So without further ado, I guess we'll get into this next set, the last set. Again, Peter Kai versus David, set 3. Who's going to win this match? Type in your comments here. Who do you think's going to win this next match? Is it going to be Kai or is it going to be David? David really showing a lot of speed, a lot of good shots, but as always, Kai with a really great amount of control. If Spec can take control of the puck and have more time with the puck, I believe Spec will win it. However, if David continues to take his tempo and keep control and take these offhand shots, these cuts and crosses, and make these goals,
right,
David can take it all. So yeah, without further ado,
and we're going into the very last set. You can see at the top of the screen now, you can see that each one has won 1 set, which means that the next person to win 4 games ends this. This game could be over in 5 minutes. This game could be over.
I love Matt Bentley. He says, I call BS, Spec.
Yeah.
Spec, he's saying that I got this, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't
Both
know.
These
One of
players,
Spec's
really
things
great players.
One of the things that Spec does is he will test the waters, is what he says, and so he'll let
Spec's
players win
seen
some
a
games.
lot more of the higher level tournament play. Spec has a lot more experience in that fashion. However, David goes to those weeklies quite a bit more often.
Right.
So Spec might be almost a little more rusty than David in this regard. And I think the amount of playing against Nathan is starting to show.
Caleb, are you able to hear me right now? Caleb, test. Yeah, you can't hear me right now.
And then Fluffy Dragon Slayer. Let's go, sports!
All right. Caleb, are you able to hear me all right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hear you loud and clear.
Cool.
Right
and we're
on.
back. If you'll take a look at the top of the screen, you can see that each player's won 1 set. And so now we're going into the very final set. This game could be over in as little as 5 minutes, depending if one person crushes. And so Matt, in the chat, you could see him saying BS at Spec, because Spec has said many times after he loses, he goes, oh, I'm just testing stuff out. But also on many, many, many occasions afterwards, Spec wins. And so he is analyzing and testing the waters, checking every play, watching David's wrist. I mean, he had a whole set to play with. Why not? He had an entire set to test it out. He could lose that entire set and it would be fine for him. So I will say I was definitely wrong about that last game. I was very wrong about that last game. I would still put my money on Spec in this one.
I mean, it was such a great match to see. I mean, David struggling to get his life back, but he managed to hold on to it and see the light at the end of the tunnel and take that set. I mean, how fun, how exciting. But now we're going into set 3. It's either player could get ahead, fall behind, and it's just, I'm so excited to see who is going to take this game and go up against the Idaho's greatest player, number 1, currently ranked. Which player is going to do it?
I just shared this again on Facebook. This is too good to miss. It's too good to miss right now.
Absolutely. And so here we go. It looks like Spec is ready to go. He is up at the table, doing a little bit of stretching. And we're waiting on David now. I believe David will be here in just a moment. And we'll get this 3rd set underway. I just hope to see David's speed and control, and I hope to see Spec take longer with the puck. Here we go. The tap. The start. Both players are ready.
There it goes.
David
Spec gets possession for the first time. That's a first.
Will that be a change in the whole set to come? It might be, with that right wall under, right to start the game off. David with control.
And then takes a shot.
A beautiful cut right back at him.
I think if you were to ask Spec before this game started, I bet you he would even guess that he could probably 7-0 David in a game. And yet here we are. And actually David is the one who 7-1 Spec in the last set.
Right. And that was one thing that I never expected. I mean, I would have expected a 7-3 at the best. And so it's really, really incredible to see. I don't know what happened to Spec that game, if just David was just so on it or Spec was out of it. But either way, here we go. Set 3, 1-1. Both players, kind of feeling each other out still. it looks like it's at a little bit slower of a tempo right now. I'd like to see David speed it up.
Oh, there's the cut.
It's a beautiful cut, 2 in a row.
And then Spec just kind of throws that serve away. He really knows better
Will
than to serve like that. David's going for a very quick game.
Will he get a hat trick with the cut? Will he get another cut right here for the hat trick? No, he doesn't quite connect it. He does go for it, but does not quite connect. Now, he's probably going to go for a right wall here after those cuts. There it is. He goes for an offhand
Loses
right
possession.
wall.
Spec takes it, goes for an off goal, brings it back, goes for another cut, off goal. Oh, he was setting up for the right wall under, and then he lost possession.
David doing a couple off right walls. Takes back control of the puck. Goes for a cross, doesn't quite connect.
Keeps it from sliding into his goal.
That's going to throw his mental off a little bit, and he gets a garbage shot. Okay, 1-3.
Oh, nice. Beautiful
2-3, beautiful shot. You know, it just goes to show he has less time.
Look at that right wall under. Fantastic speed. You know, a person was talking to me the other day, and they said, "Hey, I love your channel." And he said, "Out of all the commentators, Nathan, I love you the most." And I said, "Oh, thanks, man." He said, "Because you really insult the players real good. You're like, oh, what a garbage shot, and that was a goober, and oh, what a dumb guy." And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't mean to be like that. But I said, no, the garbage shot is an actual shot. Like, the players know it. I'm not insulting the players. Except Matt Bentley when he walked away when he thought he had won the game. When he only had 6 points. What a goober.
You know, it's okay to do a little bit of fun insulting as long as everyone knows it's in good fun.
Spec has brought the game back. It was in his deficit, but now he is ahead 1. Oh, now it's tied up 5-5. The point of criticality.
The point of criticality. I love that statement, but Spec takes it immediately. Will it go back to another point of criticality at 6-6, or will Spec lock this first game down? You know, it's kind of funny because I almost hope Spec does lock this first game down because, you know what, David speeds up and he gets better when he's under pressure. I've noticed this. So I'm almost rooting for Spec here, just that way David can come back and destroy him in the end.
Agreed. I agree with you.
All right, David with the shot, goes for a cut, doesn't quite connect, but he gets control, but he loses control, but he gets control again! What is going on over on David's side? He is all over that field. All right, takes it down, slows it down, shoots a right wall, doesn't quite connect. Spec gets control. Is he going to shut this match game down right here?
He brings it back, sets it up. It's almost stolen by David. You know, Spec has been able to pull himself out of some real bad scrapes in this set, in this match so far. David has not actually had too much of a comeback game. In fact, Spec has the most comeback points. I think Spec is going to close this out.
I don't know. Spec is taking some really soft shots right now. I'd like to see some more speed shots out of him because if he shoots it slow, David gets control, and then David starts whomping on him. Is he going to whomp on this shot? David just has so much time with the puck. He takes it to the left side, right side, left side, right down to the right side. Cut.
No!
Doesn't quite connect.
Final
He
shot.
own goals.
It gets doubled
and that
into his
is a
own
hurt
goal.
start.
Oh man,
But
you can see.
you know
this.
what?
You can see it was just barely tipped by Spec. It was a beautiful transition from Spec, and then just fumbles into his goal.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
And you know what? Still, a great start to this third set, 7-5.
Great comeback.
I'm loving seeing that Peter gets the first game. You know, with Peter on the first game and David a little bit behind, I feel like that will energize David to, you know, he's this underdog pressure that he just grasps and climbs and you can't stop him. Will that happen this set? Will he take it all, or will Kai lock it down with the first game into the second game? We'll see.
It's so close. It's so hard to tell. I mean, Spec was at a disadvantage that game. I think at one point it was 2-4. And Spec was at 2 points, and he was able to come all the way back and win that game. He only let David get one more point. Once Spec was at 2 points, he didn't let David get a single, he only let him get one single point after that. And that's the point of a good player, is that they switch something in their mind. They decide that they are not going to let the other player get any more points.
Well, Nathan, what do you think? Do you think that Spec is going to lock this whole thing down and take the win? Or do you think that David is actually going to come back and take the next game?
It's hard to say.
What?
I think at this point, I think at this point it's going to be very. It's so close. It's so close that if I had to place a bet, I still would put my bet on Spec, mainly because I've played against him for years. I know what he's capable of. I've also been the one to teach David. I know what David's capable of. And at this point, I think with both their skill levels, if I had to put my money down, it would be on Spec.
Well, I think we should make this interesting, and we should put our money down. I think $10 on David.
You got 10 on David? All right. I got 10 on Spec.
Okay, viewers, we don't actually have money. Wink, wink. All right, so there's no underhanded betting going on. We are not a casino. Okay, so here we go. I'm rooting for David. Nathan's rooting for Kai. Who's gonna take this game? Put your comment down in the section below if you want to be a part of this match. The betting. All right, excuse me. Here we go.
As Spec is so dang accurate, and the thing that I've seen about him is as games progress, he usually doesn't wear out, whereas David, I have seen him wear out. And so that's the thing. I want to be massively shocked right now by David getting a ton of energy, by David having a ton of drive, by him getting more accurate. And
I absolutely agree. I think that if David comes out like a rocket, Spec is going to have a real hard stopping him unless he becomes Elon Musk. There's just nothing to stop a rocket from coming out of the sky.
Right.
All right, both players tapping paddles. Here they go. Who's going to get control of the puck? Ow! Quick, right off the rip, like we were saying.
Right out the gate. Fantastic for. Oh no!
Oh
it's now
no!
2-0.
With the uncle. 2-0. Can David lock down a 7-0? He's got a really great start to this match.
Oh, a 3.
Gets a third. 3-0. Spec. He needs to do something. He cannot let David Kate get this strong of control, and he does.
He gets
the first point on the board. Wow. What an incredible start to the second game of set 3. All right, David's got control of the puck. He takes a right wall, doesn't quite connect, goes for the offhand and gets it right in his right side of the goal.
Right into the cross side. And then he goes for another, goes for the cut. It's going too fast to commentate at this point. He gets for another cut and nails it 5-1.
5-1. Where'd this game go? Spec is smiling because he knows it is on and he was not ready for it. But can he take control?
David's energy is like Beetlejuice. If you talk about it too many times, it just pops out of nowhere. Oh, look at that cross!
Oh! The cross from heaven! You've never seen it come until it's there.
And I mean, even David, he even covered his mouth after that shot because it was so good. He didn't even expect it to be that good of a shot. It's at game point. We are almost at our final shot right now. David is at 6, and there it is, final shot.
Oh! A 7-1! Another 7-1! Never seen a game go so quick before.
Look how fast.
That was the quickest match I've seen in all of this tournament.
He's just looking at his goal, wondering what happened. That bus came out of nowhere and just side tackled him. I don't even know what just happened during that game.
If he had done it one time this match, it's a lucky thing,
That's a
but because he did it twice, it shows that he has the skill. If he can control the zone that he is entering into and take it all the way, he could take it to the finals.
That was what, 2 minutes? If he was able to just muster up 6 more minutes and do that in 3 more games, this entire match and the state rank and the world rank would be his. The question is, can he maintain it? That's the thing. It's like using nitrous on your car. You cannot just run that all day long. I know because I've played a video game before, and you're not going to be able to run it on. It's like running on fumes. So the question is, can he
had a cup of coffee and the coffee power is running down. Will he lock it in? Or will he shut down? I like what Vi Rainsberger or Barger, I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that correct. I like what she said here. She said, I'd like to see an exposition match between Nathan and Caleb next time Caleb is in town. I agree. I think that would be great. I don't know if I have the commitment and energy to take on the great Nathan, but if I'm allowed to talk the whole match, then that's a possibility.
I'll have to put in earplugs. No, No, Caleb is
We
amazing.
could have mics on the table, and that would be an exciting match to hear.
For how little experience Caleb has actually playing, he's extremely good for the little experience he has. I have 3 years, and he's still able to take many games off of me, and he has less than like 2 weeks of actual playing on the table, whereas I have 3 years solid, and he's still able to take games away from me, which means if he were to take 2 more weeks of training, he would definitely be a top contender because he is a strategist for sure. If any of you didn't know, Caleb is actually my brother. He's remoting in. I called in the big guns for this commentary because we knew that this game was going to be so close, and so Caleb is my brother. You know, there was somebody that when the first time we commented together, they thought that I dubbed my voice. They thought we were the same person. They thought I recorded it and then recorded it over again. Yeah,
that would be crazy. That would, I know someone who's done that.
Ventriloquist.
In fact, it was our father.
Spec gets first position this time. He had it last time too, but it didn't really seem to. Oh no, David got a goal right after the possession. Oh,
here we go.
Spec not playing around, right wall under.
He is serious. Look at how he is stepping up.
Oh, look at that over.
But
you don't see many of those shots.
Beautiful over.
Goes. It's
but
mid.
Spec, he is in the zone. Spec is trying to come out, but he doesn't. David is on point with his shots. Is David gonna lock this match down? Spec looks like he looks like he's in great shape. He looks like he's gonna make these shots, but David is hitting everything right now. It's crazy. Both these players back to back, 2-2. It's like they're both in the zone, and I just don't know what's going to happen this match. Usually, I could see it, I could predict it, but not this match. These guys are incredible.
Look at this cut shot. David has got Spec on the ropes. He's got him absolutely terrified. I mean, I know Spec, and it's like he's trying to maintain his cool right now, but David's giving him so much trouble. He was expecting to crush him, and he's not crushing him. He's getting steamrolled, frankly.
Right. And, a 2-3. David's got the lead, but Spec's got control of the puck. Is he going to tie it up here once again? And not quite. It looks like David gets control with those long arms. He takes a weird offhand shot. Then Spec goes right back at him. Spec got control of the puck. He takes a really good offhand, but David blocks
sets it up again, goes for that cut. He hits too much down the center, too much mid, and Spec gets back possession.
Just so active in this match right now. This is the most energy I've seen from both players continuously. Usually it's just one way or the other, but both are fighting for dominance of this table right now.
There it is again. Spec moved perfectly straight up, but David aimed that one this time straight down the middle. Spec has a retort. It's now 3-4.
Beautiful shot, but didn't quite connect. I love
David sets it up, goes to that right wall under. It's blazing fast. Spec somehow blocked that. I don't know how he blocked that. Even David was like, how did he do that? You can see David's head fly back like, what? David sets it up. Goes for a drift, goes for a forehand. It's blocked this time. Spec loses control, loses possession.
David has it.
Bad time to lose possession for Spec. Oh, and then he gets a point again. It's now 3-5. Spec is wondering.
Spec is like, how? Why? That was just incredible. He got this insane offhand. He almost went over the line, but
they were looking,
beautiful.
and that's what Spec was looking at just then. He was looking, like I said, there's a screen there. He was looking at the replay to see if David went over and realized he wasn't. So Spec is really that worried. Oh, look at that stop from the back of his goal.
What a stop. It's like an air hockey pro has taken over David's body right now. He is just in position, taking control of this match. I don't think I've ever seen Spec in such pressure before.
I want to make something clear here. Spec's rank that he has in the world actually classifies him as a world pro at air hockey. If David wins this match, he will no longer be considered an amateur class. He will actually be considered an air hockey pro. Oh my goodness, a forehand.
Beautiful shot.
Again, it's now 3-6. Spec
Not just any air hockey pro, the rookie, the star, David, coming out of nowhere. If he takes this match,
the myth, the legend, 3-7. He takes the game away from him.
This is an upset.
Look at this
What
shot.
is going to happen?
It's that right wall under. Oh! David
No one
Genevicz
saw this coming
takes it now,
but Nathan.
Takes 2 games away from Spec. Spec now is looking, for the first time in this entire match, he is looking down the barrel of losing his rank and his stats. And not just that, he's going to be handing pro status to David on a silver platter.
And I think this game, the last set and this set, has opened Spec's eyes to what is possible. And I think Spec, going forward, if he can't lock this down, some people learn the best from defeat. And I think if he does get defeated here, I think that will light a fire under him, and he's going to start showing up to all the air hockey tournaments, all the air hockey, because, it wasn't expected to him. He thought, he's good.
You
he's
know
locked in.
what I heard from David recently is he said that he's going to be taking a small break, right? He's doing a bunch of school right now. He's only 14 years old. And that's what's so crazy. He's only 14, and he came out of nowhere. Him and Josiah both. What's so crazy about this Idaho State bracket is we have two 14-year-olds in the top 4 who have taken out everybody else. They're the youngest in the bracket besides Xander. And these guys came in here and are now top 4 in Idaho at least. And right now, David is 2 games away from being top 1 in Idaho or top 2 minimum if he wins this game.
And when you see how he's playing right now, his reaction time, his control on the puck, his ability to shoot offhands, right walls, left walls, even garbage shots, it doesn't matter. He has taken control of this table. 7-1, 7-1, 2 of those, 7-5. He's taken control of this table, and Spec, he's starting to feel it. You can see it. He suddenly, now that David has the ability to take this set. He has got to do something to stop the speed of tempo, to stop these shots. But it's hard when he shoots them so quick.
He's got 2 games to go. Let's see if he can keep up the momentum. Here comes the break. And he takes first possession. David sets it up.
Looking good.
Forehand.
Offhand.
It's very much missed. He goes right down the middle. Spec steals
nice
possession.
Nice catch by Spec.
Spec goes for a right wall. Sets it up again.
Right.
David way forward with his defense, and
Another
he steals
right
the puck.
Great catch.
Goes for the right wall over. Oh, man. It was
another great catch.
Back again. Goes for the cross.
I'm telling you what. For a rookie, he is playing better than most pros I've seen lately.
That's what I'm saying.
Amazing catches
he's got the
by
chops.
David.
I've told him this even before the game started. I said he has the ingredients to win. The question is, can he put them together?
He just needs more experience and time against some of the top players. If he had some time for more top players, I believe that he could zone in and have that.
I don't know if you saw that there, Caleb, but so Spec hit it off the table, and David felt bad about that, so it was possession David. But then once the whistle was blown, David gave it back to Spec. So even at this level, him knowing he could take that rank away, he actually gave the point to Spec.
1-2-1 offhand 2 cut.
It's
they
fantastic.
both have their shots.
He literally,
who is going to take this game?
I love how honorable he was, though, to do that. I want to emphasize that a tiny bit more. Oh, look at that cross. It's blazing
Beautiful
fast.
cross.
Spec
you make
doesn't
a very
know how
good
to react
point,
right now.
Most players in this high of a they would say no, and they might even fight for certain little things. But these players, they're so honorable, and they'll give back the puck when they know they messed up.
I want to say, I feel a little poorly for Spec though, because in between games he's running into the office and he's getting the the studio set up, because sometimes we've got things that have to be adjusted. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and so I feel bad because he's not only playing this game, but he's also helping us run a ton.
Well, and that's why Matt Bentley said, see Spec dig deep, because he's got to put in the extra work.
Right.
Not only do the videoing and everything else, he's got to envision himself as Mr. Universe and be able to do everything at once.
Oh, look at that cut. It's now 3-1.
Beautiful cut.
Spec is in another deficit. He was able to come back 2-4 last time. Oh, no, he let go of it on accident.
Gave it away. Will David give it back? No, not this time, but it
don't
matter. It was a trap. He gave him the puck so he could shoot it back.
Oh, it's instantly back 3-3.
Now made it 3-3.
Tied game. David scores on himself after Spec shoved it into his goal in the first round.
Will that be the set and the change up for Kai to take this match? He gets 2 in a row, lets it go again, maybe on purpose so he could take that counter shot. Not quite this time. David locks it in.
David 3 points away. Oh, he's 2 points away. Spec now scores on himself. They both did that now. And you can tell these players are getting tired. You can tell they're making mistakes now. This game has gone on for longer than either of them expected it to.
David in the lead. 5-4, and he's 2-1 for this third set.
He's taking his time now. Goes to the right wall under. It's deflected, and that means possession is going to go to Spec.
With Spec with possession, could Spec catch him here?
This is a huge point. This is what we call the point of criticality. Once you're at 5 points, it almost matters more than when you're at 6 points. just because of the mindset change that happens. If Spec can pull this off and make it 5-5, that's huge for him. Oh no, it's game point 4 now.
Game point 6-4. David, he's doing the upset. It's like Matt said, maybe Spec will be called the underdog now.
Oh, and Spec brings it back 5-6.
Spec catches it back.
All David has to do is get 1 point, and it will go to the 4th game for him.
Spec has control, though. Spec is catching back into the zone. He goes for a shot, doesn't quite connect, goes for another right wall.
Oh, David almost kept possession. I love the underdog story, so I am rooting for David, and I shouldn't be. David sets it up.
David 65 goes for an offhand.
Off goal. He sets it up. He goes another off goal. He's going to see if he can pull Spec out of the way. Goes for another one. Spec is not flinching.
3 in a row.
He goes for the left wall. Sets it up. Goes down the middle. Straight down the middle. It's blocked. Goes for another cut.
He has the puck control.
Full possession.
He has the time.
Oh, Spec
but he gives it away. Spec finally has control. He takes a shot. Doesn't quite make it. Gets it back though.
Deflected. Deflected again.
Goes
And David once again. Is he going to close
for the
this
offhand? Is he going to go for a cut or a cross? He goes for the cut, but Kai is there to block
What
it.
an amazing
Goes for another
comeback from
cross.
Spec, though, because Spec was at 3-1 at one point. Here he is at the gate. David
6-5.
up, goes for the
David
cross.
just trying to close this game out.
Goes for the cut. Sets it up again. Gets it with the cross.
He
It's now 7-5.
7-5.
3 games to 1.
Game.
Oh, David is only 1 game away from being, I believe, I'm going to have to look up the stats right now. It's that important to know where David is. What rank he could possibly take. I believe it's 34. I think Spec, the reason why I have to look is it changes daily. There's players that play all over the world, and they play for these ranks, and so they have challenge matches all the time. And so I'm going to look it up right now to know the exact rank. I believe it's 34, but I'm checking it out right this second.
This might be the second time we see an upset this tournament. We saw it with Matt Bentley and Josiah, and we're watching it again live right now with David and Kai. David, 3-1 to Peter. Kai, who's going to take it? We don't know yet, but I want to say David is looking good out there. He has got the speed, the tempo, the control. He could take this all the way to the end.
We have, so I looked it up, and it's confirmed. Spec is right now ranked in the world number 34. In Idaho, that ranking is the highest ranking in Idaho right now. So if David wins 1 more game, David will be ranked in the world the highest ranked player in Idaho. As far as rating goes, he'll be rated as number either 2nd or 3rd, but as far as rank goes, number 1 in the state.
Right. Number 1 in the state, number 34 or 33.
Everybody should take a second right now to post this. This is too big to miss right now. You should share this and let people know that number 34 is up for grabs right now.
Absolutely incredible by these 2 players. I really did not think that we were going to be going into a 3rd set with David in the lead. I thought it was possible to go into the 3rd set, but Kai would shut it down. But, Kai, Spec has not found that itch that he needs to scratch to take this game back into his control. David has found that itch, and he has taken the table. Really incredible job by David. I don't think I could have put up a match against David right now with the performance he is doing. Absolutely incredible. All right, looks like Kai is out there warming up. He is under the gun now. I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but you know what I'm saying, folks. He is in the zone. He needs to figure out what he needs to do to lock this next game, because if he doesn't, David will take it all. He'll take his rank. He'll take this tournament.
You could just see it on Spec's face. He did not expect this. He let this. The second game, you could tell he was using a different amount of level of intensity. He was taking his time. He was, I guess you could say, sussing David out a bit. And now here we are, and David is just amping it up. Can he win 1 game, or is Spec going to actually take the next 3 games in a row? Because that's what it will take right now. Spec will need to win 3 games in a row to retain and keep his thing. Or is David actually going to go? Is David going to kick Spec out of the top 2 in Idaho? Because that's what this will happen. And then it will be Josiah versus Spec in the next big matchup. Oh, 1-1 now.
1-1. Spec really looking for the light here now. You know, David, he got that spark, he started the fire, and the fire has taken root. I mean, it is burning down the forest, and Spec now, can he stop
beautiful cross. So that was a cross that won Spec the first set. He's used that shot so many times, and he stopped using it, so maybe he's put it in his back pocket for a rainy day, and now is that time for him to pull that shot back out and start crushing David with it.
Absolutely. And, you know, Spec, he's 2-1. He's zoned in. You can see him leaning forward, zooming in body and soul. Like you said before, soul on his puck. You know, you could see it. He is going in hard right now.
Well, he has to. This is his last chance. Right now, Spec is 6 points away from losing it all.
And
he will
you
get
know what?
bumped to number 35 in the world. He will lose over 200 ELO points on this one. Oh, and there it is, right well under it. It's now 5 points away from losing everything and getting kicked out of the Idaho State main bracket. He'll be put into the loser's bracket, which will pit him against Josiah, and he will only have the highest rating he could possibly have in Idaho is number 3 and a possible number 4.
By both players there. I love seeing what Peter Kai is pulling out. He's pulling out a drift shot right now that we haven't seen a lot of. I don't know if that will be enough to change up the flow of this match, though. Here he goes again. He pulls it back. He pulls it forward. Watch him drag it forward and shoot it.
Vince Sauceda setup. It's a beautiful setup. Vince Sauceda.
He's been doing that this whole round, and he gets the right wall. I do think that he's changed it up enough that he might be able to score this game.
The question is, can David adjust back? Because now Spec has adjusted, but is it too late for him to have made this adjustment, or is he going to take this in the next 3 games? Right down the middle, David once again.
He is doing a beautiful job catching those pucks. I don't think I've seen Peter Kai do as wonderful a job on his defense until this game. You know, he's been doing a great job, but this is like a next level. I wish I had seen this come out earlier, but I guess he was saving it for this game right now. Here it comes again. He goes for a fake cut, doesn't quite connect. David gets control of it. David just not sure where to shoot with you know, Peter's defense.
Spec sets it up again. David retains possession. Is he going to tie it up right now? David sets it up slow. Goes for a very nice, very slow right
fake
wall. And then, yeah, gets it back again.
Incredible. I mean, he suddenly changed the flow. Even though Spec had the flow, now he's got the flow back. He's got
David
control, but he
touches
touches it.
Yep, gives up possession right away. I don't think that was even caught by the ref. So once again, hats off to David for being having good good integrity, and so does Spec. That's what I love about the players here, is that they don't get away with things like that. They actually call themselves out for their mistakes. Even when they are looking at losing their rank, they will still say, hey, this is the right thing to do. Spec sets it up. Oh, right wall. He scores on himself. No. That is absolutely mentally devastating for him right now to be this far behind and then score on himself. Spec is angry. You can see him hitting it with fierce
He's got really
ferocity.
great control right now, though. He's really controlling it well. He's got more time with the puck. He's doing a really good job. Goes another one of those shots.
Loses control, loses possession. David sets it up. David could be in the lead right now. It's tied up.
He goes for a fake offensive. Really great job by Spec. You know, David was doing really good on controlling the flow of the game, but Spec has control right now.
Wall over.
Great shot by Spec.
Beautiful shot. It's now Spec is 3 points away from prolonging the inevitable, and David is 4 points away from taking it all.
Well, it's like you say, underdog story. It's still David is the underdog, but weirdly enough, right now, Peter's the underdog.
It's kind of fun. It does make you want to switch sides, doesn't it? But I got $10 on the line. Oh, that's right. I got $10 for Spec.
Right.
Oh, that's right. I want Spec to win. Hey, go Spec. I mean,
Burst psychology in the comment tech, Terry.
Oh, he let go of it again on accident. That was a complete unforced error. Beautiful deflection, though. Now he gets the puck back. You know, no timeouts have been called this game. And it's funny that you're one of the biggest proponents for timeouts, and they are a tool to be used. Each player has a 10-second timeout they can take once per game. Beautiful cross.
Well, you know, and if I was David, I would call the timeout because Spec has control of the flow right now.
Oh, look at that stop!
The stop is unreal right now. One of these days, we need to get a replay for stops for some of those shots.
Really,
I don't know how we do it, but they're just so good.
Oh, and see, David's losing. Okay, so I think he's running out of steam. He just lost possession a few times. He's made some bad shots that are going straight towards the center. This could be Speck's chance to take advantage of that. All it really takes is one person, instead of giving it 100% intensity, just them going down to like 98, and the other player going up 2 percentage points of intensity to win a game. There it is, right well under. It's now 6-3 game point.
Blocking this game, but oh, David with a sneaky serve. Beautiful shot. All right, here we go.
Speck could be taking the second game for himself right here. He gets it back, sets it up, and gets it right
Beautiful.
under 7-4.
You know, and this is what I love to see about players like Speck. He analyzed, he knew that he was under the scope, and he changed his play style completely. He is doing this control the puck, you know, drawing it out, rather than back and forth, back and forth. He took control of this match and said, hey, look, this is where experience comes in. I can change how I play.
And that's
automatically.
The thing, that's what I've been saying since the start of this match. I've been proven wrong almost this entire match. However, that's what makes Speck such a dangerous player to go up against, is that as soon as you make an adjustment against him, he's already outthought you and is already 3 steps ahead of you. And so we're seeing that right now, that David really took him by surprise, but now he's adjusted. Can Speck pull off 2 more games, or can David close this out?
Is it too late, or does he have it? That is the question. You know, David only needs 1 more game. You know, but Speck made the adjustment. Can he hold on to it, or is David now going, okay, I see what you're doing, and now I'm going to adjust for you? We'll see.
It's so close,
you know?
And that's, you know, at the very beginning, I'm not going to lie. I took part in the poll, Caleb, and people might be mad at me for saying this, but I've never been wrong in my vote. So far, every time I've made a vote on who I think is going to win, they end up winning. And I voted on Speck for this one because I just know how he digs in, and how he digs deep, and how he gets the job done. He knows how to close a game out. I don't know how many times I've seen him for a $100 fighting people, and they're ahead of him just because of some lucky weird shots, and he has to close it out. He's used to this type of stress. He's used to this type of pressure. David is not, but yet here we are. And so I still think David is going to fall prey to Speck adjusting and taking him out.
You know, and that's a good analysis here. But I just want to say, you know, Matt Bentley, he's saying, you know, the problem with David right now is because Speck is slowing his game down. This frustrates David because it's boring, and he hates that.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
And you know what? That's what I was saying that Speck should do. Remember, I was saying that, you know, that Speck should slow the game down. He was falling into David's tempo, and that's what he did. Not only did he slow the game down, but he also changed up his play style just enough to throw off David's game. Wonderful by both these players.
But now here's a question. Is David now going to amp up the intensity and Speck going to relax a tiny bit because he just won one? Because I've seen it happen. You know, somebody gets 7-1 one game, and the next game they come back to win it, right? And so let's see what happens here. This could be everything. David is at set game. If he wins this game, it's entirely over. This match game.
Yeah, and David starts it off.
He's going slow. He retains possession. Goes for the cut. It's deflected. Speck,
Kai,
you can see how he's leaning. He looks like a tiger.
He is. He's ready to strike. I mean, you know, you can see his intensity right now. He didn't have this before, but now Peter has the intensity. He slowed the game down, and he's replaying a different game. Can David take the game back into his tempo?
I don't think my heart's ever raced this much at the start of a game. My heart is racing right now at the start of this game. I'm not lying right now. It's because it's this close. Speck has earned this. I want to see him make it to the end. You know, and David's talking about taking a break after this. And he's not going to get a chance to take a break if he wins this game.
Crazy? Most of these games have been 1-1 right from the start every time.
I think you're right.
It's really great to see. It's like they both.
David is really taking his time. He knows that he does not want to let this get to the 7th game. He has to close this game out right now. So he goes for the right wall over. It's missed. He sets it up. Goes for Speck rushed it and scared him. He forced
this ball.
That's a forced error, I guess you could say. Speck forced that error on him.
I love seeing Speck just taking these shots that he's doing that's working for him. He shoots the right wall and he gets the shot in.
We got Sam in the chat right now. Derpy Piggy, one of my all-time favorite players, originally from Idaho. Man, I wish he could be seeing this live, not just live, but in person.
Another right wall. He is
3
just
to
locking
1.
down this right wall shot, and David has no answer for it yet.
Oh, and there it is with a cut.
He swapped it to the cut.
David's getting upset. You can see him
Beautiful
playing
job.
fast. He gets him back with a cross. Can David come back and win this
does.
whole thing, or is it going to be
Maybe.
forced into a 7th game?
You know, David getting upset might be the right move because
Right.
David has a better chance when he gets the tempo
Right.
back into his game.
I often say it's not about being angry, it's about getting fierce, right? And there's a difference
Right.
between being upset and being fierce, raising your intensity level. And so before my games, I'll be jumping up and down. I got to get my adrenaline going, and I think I'm seeing David do that right now, right? But the thing
Right.
is it too far too late for this game because of Spec's lead? Peter's got a
Spec
2-point lead.
He's changed the whole tempo. He's got control of the puck like we've never seen before. You know, all these games before, David had so much control. In the last game, we saw Spec bring out the
he let go of it again.
He started gaining control, and Spec has had the most control you've ever seen. He gets into this tiger stance on his defense, and it's incredible.
I
He's
guarantee
showing
you,
why
if Spec ends up pulling
has
this off,
experience.
Caleb, I another $10 bet. I guarantee you, if Spec ends up winning this game, he's gonna say that he let David win those other games just for intensity's sake, which is not true. I'm calling it now.
Not true.
Oh, right wall under, beautiful shot. Man, that
He's
was
been
good.
getting a lot of the right walls on David.
And
David
look at
has
that.
Yet
He
to find the answer
took
to
away
it.
his cross, steals possession back, and gets possession again. He's about to 7-2 David.
You know, it reminds me of an anime I seen a long time ago. It was a tennis anime, and the tennis player was so good that he could stay just in the middle of the
Ooh,
court and
nice
never
cut.
move, and draw the ball to him every single time. That's like what Kai is doing. He just has his stance. He doesn't have
there
to
it
do
is.
much,
It's
and
now.
it comes back to him.
We're almost at
6,
the final
2,
point
3.
right now for Spec. He could possibly win this and the whole entire thing if he's able to bring this into the last game. And
This
then he
is
gets
just
possession back
so
again.
incredible.
I knew it. This is what I was telling you. That Spec likes to observe
but 4
and
to
then
6.
adjust. You know,
Can he lock this game?
we saw David come back
Can he
or we
do
saw
it?
Spec come back from 4-6, but we haven't seen David do that. So I don't think it's gonna happen. And then again,
David warming back up though.
Out of-
he goes for some really good offhands. He's recognizing that his offhands and his quick shots are what's getting into Spec's shot. So, but Spec, he still has the shot. It looks like David's starting to finally read it though.
Oh, and there it is, a final shot.
But is it too late?
4-7.
Going into the final game in set 3, these players have
game.
fought tooth and fingernail. You know, I don't know if any blood's gone on the table this match, but I tell you what, the sweat has, and these two players have fought for every inch
This is
to win this match, to
incredible.
go into the finals.
And there's our Anthony Spanberger. He forgot that we were going to switch to that camera, and he's regretting it immensely. So we have. What's so? I mean, here's the thing. Everybody loves a game that gets to a 6-6 game. Because you can see that. Look at the background. You can see air hockey 7-6 because it's the ultimate score. There's a ton of
like
players,
you say,
especially in North
everyone
Carolina.
is waiting for that 6-6 shot, a 6-6 game, to the point where I was even forgetting to breathe for a moment there, and I had to breathe real quick, you know, because you're holding your breath. You're on the edge of your seat. You're like, what's going to happen? Is the underdog going to take it all and win this game? Or is the one who has got the experience going to defend his title and go to the finals?
There's a ton of players in North Carolina. A shout out to those guys. Those guys are awesome. And they have a 7-6 tattoo on their arm. And it's fun because they get the question a lot. People are like, what does that mean? Is that like a date? Is that like a time? Like, no, it's a score. And they're like, a score, 7-6? They're like, not 7-6. It's 7, points for one player, 6 for the other. It's the ultimate score. It means hearts are racing. It means that it got to 6-6, and then people were holding their breath for the next point there. And not just that, but we didn't just see a bunch of 6-6 games, but now we're seeing this go to the 7th game. Neither player wanted it to get this far. Spec wanted to close this out in the second set.
Both
he wanted
players.
to crush David, and he couldn't. David did not want to let Spec get 2 more games. It was 3-1, and Spec has come back after losing 3 games in a row, and now Spec's won 2 games in a row. And so this game was not wanted by either player. Both of them are upset about this. Neither one of them is happy about this. I think between the two, Spec is probably more happy that he came back.
You and me. We are happier than can be because this match has gone in to the 6-6, so many times, and here we are now.
First possession goes to Spec. He sets it up. He goes for right. Well, loses possession. You do not want to lose possession when it's a last game. Oh, and then he
almost
on himself.
Not a great start. Not a great start for Peter Kai, but David looking to take advantage of it.
Beautiful right wall
1-1 once again.
It's
the
tied up.
Matches
it can't get any closer than this. This is as tied up as it gets. They both have won a set. It's now 3 games of 3 games and tied up.
Beautiful offhands, but doesn't connect. Peter is waiting for them.
Right wall, but it went mid, and Spec was able to block it again. Spec loses possession again.
It looks like David has finally figured out that shot, and he is able to defend against it. Both players able to read each other's shots now. Who is going to come up with the next shot to take the goal?
Goes for an off goal. He gets it back. Nope. Spec steals possession. Spec sets it up. Goes for that cut. It's deflected. David sets it up. Oh, it goes for the cut. Spec even leaned back in anticipation for that shot. Oh no!
Oh, he goes for a garbage.
You can hear how upset he was about that.
If Spec goes for a bank shot left wall right now, oh, he doesn't quite connect to the right wall. He needs to go for that left wall. If he goes for that left wall, it is golden.
David is blocking so far up right now. I love seeing where he's defending. A lot of players have a problem with that, but I love to see that. And then he stole it because of how far up he was. And now his possession, he could take the lead right now. Goes for a drift. Beautiful right wall under. Masterful deflection from Spec.
You can feel the intensity
and that's the
radiating off of both these
players. At the start of this game, it was missed blocks and missed shots, and that was a perfectly aimed shot and a perfect block. Beautiful cut. Transition shot from David off of a drift. David steals possession again. Is he going to tie it up, or is he going to bring it 3-1, or is Spec going to tie this? Right down the middle.
Doesn't quite make a good shot there.
David could right now take a demanding lead. Goes for the off goal. Those off goals are really important because it makes the player antsy and it makes them want to make mistakes.
Spec almost grabs it but loses it. David still with control. Spec tries to catch it but still cannot quite catch it. Not quick enough.
David, once again with possession. He's had so much possession time this game. Spec takes it back.
Spec goes for a shot and gets it back. Beautiful. Spec looking to shoot the
cut. It looked like it was going to be the right wall under. It's a cut. It's now tied up. It doesn't get closer than this once again. This game is so damn close.
Slows it back down.
David loses possession. Bad time to lose possession. You do not. Neither player can make mistakes right now. Once again, Spec loses possession again as well. You can tell these guys are tired. David goes to the right wall. It's blocked.
Are on end now.
And there's the cross. Spec in the lead for the first time, I believe, in this last game. This is the last game. There's only.
Will David take it or will Spec take it?
Tied up again. 4 points. 4 points right now decides everything.
Every point is a point of criticality right now. It's incredible to see 3-3. Who can lock this down?
Spec hits it off, loses possession.
Or will Spec?
David gets possession because Spec hits it off. David sets it up. Almost lost possession. Spec barely missed that. David goes for forehand off goal. Goes for another right wall.
He has great control of it. Looks like Spec gets control of it. And folks, don't blink because you'll miss it right now. These players and these shots are so quick. You don't want to miss these shots.
David goes for that cut. It's once again right down the middle. That's the bane of his existence this game. He has not been able to break that curse of just hitting him directly down the center. Spec sets it up and goes for the cut. It's now 4-3.
A beautiful drift cut.
And then David loses possession. This is Spec's chance to clinch this entire match right now. This is his chance.
David is starting to get worked up. David is starting to feel the pressure. But he
ties it up again.
Again. Both players, you can see the tension. They are both striving to take this last goal from each other, but there's still 3 goals left to make.
Spec sets it up, goes for that cross. It's missed. He gets it. David steals it back. David could right now take the lead.
Show. Will he take it, or will Mr. Universe take back control? He's got control. He takes the shot, but
this
David
is so back. Each player's doing great shots, and the other player is stealing them. I mean, this is such a
Absolutely.
fantastic match. The volleys, right while under,
Oh,
and
right while
David
under,
is now
now
in the
David
lead.
is in
David,
the lead.
2 points away from stealing rank 34 in the world, kicking Spec out of the rank of the Idaho State Tournament, and also being at least second in Idaho, if not first, going up against the last match in the Idaho State Tournament.
Spec just taking shot
just
after
going
shot,
for pot
loses
shots,
control.
loses possession. David could right now get a set, possible set
David
point
loses
here.
control back to Spec. Spec slows it down, goes for a shot, doesn't quite connect. David is there, ready to block. Will Spec go for an off wall? Will he go for a left wall? Will he go for a right wall? He
No,
goes down
he
for
loses
the
possession
loses
instead.
possession. David takes control, goes for the off
Goes
goal,
for a cut,
goes for a
loses
cut,
possession.
loses
This is
possession, back and forth.
I don't know about you, but
What?
it's hard to express. Oh, there it goes. It's
Oh,
now
tied
The point
again.
of criticality, 5-5. This next goal matters so much. Spec gets possession. David loses it quick. Once again deflected, but Spec retains possession. He brings it up. He goes for the shot, loses possession. This is David's chance. He
David
cannot
with
blow this.
control.
He cannot blow this. He goes for an off goal.
Slows it down, off goal, good off goal.
I wish I could slow
Another
my heart
good
down
off
right
goal.
now as David's
Holds
slowing his
Spec
games
out.
down. He
If
goes
he
for the
takes that
cut.
goal,
It
goes
is
for the
now.
cut.
It is now.
6-5.
The match
Game
point.
point.
It's
for
match
David.
point to 5. Spec must make this goal to tie it up.
Spec
No,
doesn't connect.
this is
David
David's
takes
shot.
control.
This
He
is
slows it down.
everything right now. If David
He
makes
brings
this
it
goal,
in.
he takes it all.
He
He's
gets
number
it.
34 in
7-5.
the world.
The upset.
I cannot believe
Incredible.
this game. I just lost $10 and I'm actually okay with it. Oh my goodness.
That's $10 you'll ever
Right
lost.
while under, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this.
This is why you come and watch these games, because sometimes the unexpected is to be expected, and David takes it all. You know, I saw the flow of the game, I took my bet on David, and this is why. He is able to finally catch Spec in his shot.
David
You know,
ranked as number 6 before this tournament started. So all these players had to fight tooth and nail to get a better seed for the tournament. Okay, so the best seed gets to go against like lower ranked players, and that's how it goes. The highest ranked goes against the lowest ranked, and so on and so forth. And so they were fighting right before the tournament started. We had a cutoff date that they had to finish all their games by a certain cutoff date, and to get a better seed. And David got number 6 in Idaho. Okay, there were obviously 5 higher ranked players than him, including Spec and Anthony, and he was able to beat them in an upset battle, and this is a massive upset. It's not even just a tiny upset. This is a 4-player rank difference, and he was able to take that, let alone his world rank, which was, I believe, it got reset this year, but he was up in the 80s roughly, and now he is number 34 in the world after a masterful defense, a fantastic transition game, crazy cuts and crosses. I cannot slow the speed of my speech down because this is too exciting right now. I feel terrible for Spec.
It's so incredible. Here's the thing. Spec, he changed his game. He took control of the last game. He was able to catch it back up. But then David, he started to read that play style. He started to block those cuts. And Spec, he was able to block a lot of the off-goal shots by David. So they both switched their settings. They both switched their moves. David started putting back into the cuts, back into the crosses, and you know, it was anyone's game at that point, but David managed to squeeze the game out in his favor. I am so excited to go and hear from both these players right now, to hear their thoughts. I mean, you know, I know that Spec was expecting to win, and so it might be a little hard there, but at the same time, you know, you see some of these players who really put in the time, like David, even though he was ranked 6, he has skill. And it's incredible to see. He's a young player, and if he actually goes and keeps playing this way, he could go to Worlds.
You know, he is actually going to be. He's going to be going to Worlds next year. He didn't go this year, and I wish he had because it would be crazy to see how he would have done there.
Absolutely, and you know, it's you know, you see this all the time in big esports games or football games and all this thing where this rookie comes out of nowhere. You know, he got some time in or whatever, and then boom, he blows up. And this is one of those times. This is one of those moments where David, he came out of nowhere, and you saw it in this match. At first his defense was really weak, and he tightened up that defense. He took control of the match, and he managed to lock down these sets. Amazing job by David. Great plays by Spec as well. Seeing Spec change up his game in order to lock down those last 2 games, really incredible as well. I can't express how incredible this game was to watch live. I mean, both players, seeing their play styles, seeing them switch and play differently and everything else. So exciting. Looking forward to hear from both these players. And, it looks like Nathan's there on the couch with them or on the chair with them. And, we'll set up.
I don't think you can hear this, but even the ref is like, you guys cannot make me
no
ref.
Mic, no volume.
Oh.
That was intense.
All right, well,
tell me when you
right
can.
Now they're working on the volumes.
Yeah, we'll get this going in a second. Tell me when you can hear me.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Test.
Yep.
Test. All right.
We hear you now.
The ref is like, you guys cannot make me ref games like this again. My hands are shaking. My heart's shaking. He's like, I don't ever want to ref a game like this ever again. But that's the thrill of the 7-6, right? Nobody wants to see a blowout game. Nobody wants to see a game go from, a 7-0 game or 7-1 game. They want to see those 7-6 games. This is crazy.
This is why we can't have us commentators in the room with the players while they're playing, because it is just too exciting. We would throw their game off with how much we say and our excitement level, because it's just so incredible to see.
Right. Spec. You just kicked me from 35 to 36.
and you lost him $10.
And you just lost me $10.
If there was any other bigger loser, it would be Nathan, and I wanted Nathan to lose.
It's true. It's very true.
I always want Nathan to lose. So if he bets on me, I'm gonna lose.
That was the play.
And because you lost, you made me not even be applicable for my second bet. I'm like, he does win. He's gonna say he let David win those other games, and I'm like, this just proves that you weren't letting him win anything.
Honestly, I did let him win that 1-7-6 game because I was trying to get that stupid.
I saw that. Your dumb forehand on that one set.
That was one game I actually threw.
Oh man. Okay, so Spec, number one, I know. Believe me, you beat me a good month or so ago. I know how it feels, but I have to ask you in this moment, as a part of you, proud of just David and Idaho for the player base and the skill level that you're seeing out of it.
I'm actually happy David won, because now that everybody can challenge him now and not me.
The pressure is off at the moment.
David doesn't know it yet, but like,
I just ruined Idaho's ranking system.
What Spec just did by letting David, what David just did is he took a red can of spray paint and spray painted a target on his chest.
Well, he is pretty red right now.
We have people that have flown out from other states because they look at that bracket all the time. They look at the top ratings in the world and they go, where do I think it's weak? And nobody knows David. He didn't go to Worlds, so he's only known here in Idaho. And so other players are going to see that and go, I think that the bracket's weak right there. There's a weak spot in the bracket. I could be 34 in the world. I'm going to fly out there and challenge David. They have to go to the player. It's not that they can challenge him and he has to go to them, unless they pay for it, which is also really fun. It's fun to have the other players pay for you to fly.
That's the most, that's one of the incredible things about this sport, is that people will straight up pay to come play against you,
right,
or pay to have you play against them. I mean, how much more dedication can you have to a sport? It's really incredible to see.
Spec, your thoughts on the game?
For like the life of me, that whole last game, I was trying to go for the cross. You saw me do my cross setup.
I even said it at the beginning.
It was going mid, and then it was going to the cut side. I was like, what's going on? My mallet's not responding to me. It was just like your dumb set last Monday. It was like, this table.
Beck, I want to say I was so impressed with the comeback. You were like, you changed your play style. You suddenly started taking control of the puck.
I started playing like Vince Salceda.
I said it. Okay.
That's what Nathan said.
I was like, okay, something has to work. Colin Cummings
prophecy is-
doesn't work. My stuff doesn't work. Let's try something else. I'll try Vince Salceda, and I won 2 games
And
in a
it
row.
did. It started working, but then in the last
And then
match,
you started to
started
adjust, and
reading
then
it.
I
Yes.
started missing my shots, and then I started getting in my head.
Well, it's
You started hitting a lot of mid shots.
But
What
there's,
happened? 'Cause-
there's something to be
Yeah.
said though about David's ability to adjust as well. It wasn't
Right.
It wasn't just solely
know,
on
I-
you either doing good or doing bad. There's something to be said about his
You
adjustments
both
too.
adjusted to each other. It was incredible to see him. You took control of the first set. And then the second set he gets 7-1 in there, and then the third set he gets a 7-1 in there. Like
Right.
those were so unexpected, and it was just like, bam, you took the lead on a game. Bam, he takes the lead on a game. Bam, you take the lead. It was like it was so unexpected to see how you guys were able to read each other, change the flow of the game into your favor, and then it would go back to the other way. They would read you and change the flow.
Right.
I mean, it was one of the most exciting matches to see.
At the start
both players.
At the start of that
Incredible.
match, you went for that cross and you got it on him. And then you did it again, and I'm like, that's coming back. I'm like, I bet Spec had saved this in his pocket for a rainy day, and this is now that moment. It's what he used to crush David in the first set. I'm like, I bet you he's going to use that. He's going to come back. David was ahead of you 3-1 in the games, and then you got 2 games in a row, forcing a 7th game. I hate your guts for that. I'm kidding. But even at that moment, I'm like, neither player wanted it to get to this point. David wanted to stop this set right after his 3rd win. Spec didn't want it to get to the 7th game. He wanted to win this right off the bat, but he's glad it's gotten to this point. I really expected you to take that. I voted for you in the chat. This is the first time in the bracket that I've made a vote that was incorrect.
I'm not sure who I voted for. I'm not sure if I voted for David or Spec, to be honest. I think I voted for someone. I just don't know
Huge-
who I actually ended up voting.
Huge upset battle. But okay, so we got to go to the chat because I'm just too excited to even look at it. My hand's shaking. This is the moment to throw a question in the chat for Spec while he's sitting right here. And then in a second, we're going to have David sit down. It's so funny because looking at him, you would never know he won. I'm looking at him right now. He's just like, whatever, that's cool.
he's all dressed in his
Yeah, he throws a sweater on, which is like what the Wisemans do, right? After the games, they put the sweater on to stay warm, right? We keep the house very cold thanks to right now heating and air conditioning.
He looks defeated.
I see Matt Bentley saying in the chat, I challenge David for his world rank, but you know what? Yeah, come get it, because I tell you what, if you challenge him right now in his top form, you will get crushed.
No, it's
he
exactly
is
what I'm saying.
on fire right now.
That's correct. It's really funny though, because looking at Spec, you're like laughing and joking, and David looks like upset. If I were to just take a picture of this and be like, "Who won the game, everybody?" They would all be like, "Spec won."
At the end of the day, I'm just glad there was a show to be put on.
Dude, I'm gonna charge you for my heart bills. Okay, so oh man, actually a funny moment. When you do, so I worked at a hospital for a while. And when you do have any heart issues, they put a bunch of sensors all over you, and they tell you to do whatever you did to reproduce the issue. Okay, and so if you were talking to the doctor, if I was talking to him right now, and he was like, okay, so what happened? You have some heart irregularities. They'd put a sensor on me, like, hey, go do what you did. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go and watch a game of air hockey, and he'd be like, ha ha ha. Okay, but seriously, go do whatever you did. And I'll be like, and he's gonna have to
Spec, I want to say, I wish we had a replay for some of your stops. You had this crouching tiger, hidden dragon stance where you were in front of your goal, and David would shoot the shot, and you would just pull back the puck and catch it dead stop. I mean, I wish we had a couple of those replays because it was so beautiful.
It was. David pushed me to the limit of where I should play Nathan at, and that's a good thing.
Well, see, here's
absolutely
he pushed me to that sort of reserve that I had to save for Nathan.
Right.
So this means there's so much to talk about. It's so little time. Your next game now is going to be against Josiah.
And that's easy.
That's easy. Josiah got second place at the Idaho Weekly yesterday, and beat me in a game. Josiah is as easy as David is. So
no, I can beat Josiah.
I will say that Josiah has if Josiah can gain some more control, he has a lot of speed. He has a lot of tempo, and that's usually really good in favor of just like with David. I want to say when David entered his tempo speed, you had a hard time to versus tempo. So if Josiah could do that, he could be a potential threat. But
Josiah
that
doesn't
being
play
said,
very fast. He doesn't have a high-speed game. Actually, David normally doesn't either. And so here's the thing that's so good. It's so good for everybody. It sounds terrible to say this. It is a good thing that Spec lost this game. This will force Spec into a whole nother level of playmanship. It's a good thing when Spec beat me because I had to dig down and force a different defense. And so by David winning just now, he just radically shifted the full scale level of intensity and accuracy from all the Idaho players. David winning this game is a massive win for Idaho. Spec winning his game against me, massive win. It's always a positive net win when the underdog wins, except my next game against David.
Well, that's when David learns there's a new boss in town.
I know. I saw that in the chat. Someone said, and now he's on to the final boss. Yeah, that'll be a fun game. I'm not looking forward to it. Like I said, he's got these killer. I mean, you know now his cut right while under and his right while unders are fast, right? Like Anthony has a killer cut cross, but his right while unders are a bit slow.
Yeah.
But David's right while unders are screaming.
I like what Matt Bentley said here. He's like, that's fine, Caleb, because half the time you don't know what you're talking about. So that gives me about a 50% shot. That's okay because you fake it till you make it. That's the old saying. And
well, Matt Bentley was at the weekly yesterday, and he did not get first or second or third. He got fourth place. Actually, Josiah and Anthony both outranked him, and so And Josiah.
I think I remember shoutcasting that game where Josiah beat Matt.
Yep, and
you call him Joseph or something.
Joseph.
Josiah.
All right. Okay. Spec. Like I said, this is awesome. I'm excited about this. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for my $10 loss. I'm sorry for my rank that just got bumped up, and I have to challenge you now. I was excited to play a game for a challenge match, and now I have to fight David and probably lose for it. But
what do you mean lose?
Because he's playing really, really well, like ridiculously well. I think my favorite was, I have to say this. I just have to call it out. He did I don't know, 7 garbage shots, and he called every garbage shot on himself, and even said he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he gave up the puck multiple times when he touched it when nobody saw it. I like the playmanship. So did you.
I thought he went over that one point, so I looked at the replay.
No.
I was like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, I was like, watch the sad face. Here comes sad face.
It looked over. I don't know.
Man. All right. I also want to say, we also know that you help run the stream, and you're running back there every time. And every single
that
pro,
doesn't affect my game.
You should take it.
It does, but it doesn't.
Use a crutch. It does. I mean, when you have to run back, when you look up and you're wanting just to look at the score and you see an error and you have to run back to fix it. So
that doesn't really affect my game. What affects my game is my ego to show off. That's why I'm doing that dumb shots. I mean, it's good to create show, but it's bad to win games.
And that's the sad part. The coolest shots to people that don't know about air hockey are the worst shots.
Exactly.
The shots that look the most boring to noob players are actually some of the best shots.
Like at the what was it, the 5th game, I was telling myself, just play boring. That's what I did.
That's what you're telling yourself, just play boring. That's awesome. I like that mantra. All right. We should get David over here. Get your comments in the chat.
Yeah, let's
fired
hear
up
from the finalists.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Spec, awesome job though. Honestly, that was a killer game. It was crazy. I'm glad it's over because my heart, it's still going. It's slowing down.
The only thing that could have made this game better is if Tyler was here to help shoutcast with us.
So Tyler was on his way here, and I'm really bummed to say this. I don't know if he ever wanted me to say this, but on his way here, in transition to being here, in transit, I should say, his car broke down. And so we were trying to figure out how we could get him here at the last second. That's actually why my ugly mug is here right now. It was actually going to be you and Tyler doing the commentary, and I was going to be helping run it. But instead, this lines me up perfectly. It's almost like we planned it, but we didn't. To just give a giant thank you to all the people that I'm looking at behind the camera that have made this work, including Josiah, who stepped in Spec's stead to help work the feed. And then when Josiah had to leave, this is going to sound crazy. I didn't expect to do a shout out for this guy. I invited somebody just this last, it was on Sunday, so yesterday. I invited somebody and said, hey, you should show up. It's really fun. You should show up and just watch. You're not going to have to do anything, I promise. And he showed up just to watch. And right now he's running the stream because Josiah had to leave. His name is Cruz. He did an amazing job. He jumped in without expecting to work. We have Noel, who popped in his first time here, and then he ended up working as well. It's like everyone came and I'm like, you don't have to work, and then they end up working. We've got Chance, who popped in and he helped do all the reffing, and he's regretting it. I could still see his heart pounding. We got Emily, who helped start all the games off. We got Tim here, who's normally our residential ref, our refidential, and he instead this game, because David's his son, instead of reffing, Chance took over reffing so that way he could take a break and just cheer for his son. After those games, you could hear him cheering. We didn't have anybody else watching. We actually legit had to kick people out. There was a bunch of neighbor kids that were like, we want to watch the big game today and cheer. We're like, all right, that's fine. And then the players actually said, hey, you know what? It's going to be too much pressure. Let's kick them out. We only want a few players, or a few people watching. So it was a fun day of father watching son win. With that being said, David, get your butt over here, man. And the players can start asking you some questions. I don't want to bore them with my face. You're the champ here today. Yeah, Dad is still excited. He's running around.
Finalist.
Oh,
How?
man.
Oh man. Okay, he has to get his headset on. He can't hear me yet.
No, he can't.
How are you feeling taking that win?
I feel awesome, and now I have to play Nathan.
Oh.
How
so
do you
you're not
feel
feeling
about taking that win too?
Yeah.
Oh, David. I mean, it was incredible. You know, we watched Spec change his play style to catch back up and bring it to a 3-versus-3 game. And then you were able to start reading those shots at the end. You stopped his cuts. You stopped his, left walls, right walls, and you managed to take the game. I mean, it was just incredible watching both of you guys, switching your play styles and learning and adapting to each other. I mean, how do you feel when you were going into some of those shots, some of those plays?
I don't know why it works for me, but sometimes I just don't think too much because I do have a problem with overthinking like a lot of things. So I just don't think too much. Just play the game and just like don't be stupid and score on yourself or whatever.
It's common for the pro players to say, get out of your head. That's a very common quote. There's a lot of quotes. Some of them I can't even say online because they're a little bit like, if you block, if you pull back, they'll be like, don't be a lame person, we'll say. I'll censor myself here. They're like, don't be a lame person. Like, don't back up. You have to stay firm. However, when it comes to these types of games, they'll say, stay out of your head. Because if you start overthinking it, you are definitely right. You will start to lose those games. If you start thinking about the game, you'll find yourself thinking about what's going to happen if I lose this match? Like, why am I not thinking about his shot? Why am I not thinking about his wrist right now and the puck and the mallet? Why am I thinking about this after the game stuff? Why am I thinking about that right now, right? Or you'll score on yourself and all you'll think about is, why did that happen? Why did I let that happen? And meanwhile, the game's continuing on. You did really good. Dude, you made me lose $10.
David.
Not just that, but you came back with so much energy. I'm impressed.
And David, you just took 33rd place.
34.
You are now 34th place, and now you're gonna have people come challenging you. I mean, even down here, Derpy Piggy is saying congratulations on the win, David. You ready for a challenge match though? I mean, they're coming, David. You are in the target. You are in their sights now. How do you feel about that?
That's crazy. That is insane.
It's so fun because, like, with the ratings and the ranks, I think your rating right now is, I'm not sure, but you may have overtaken Spec with that. So you might be rated as a number 2, but as far as ranking goes, you are ranked number 1 in Idaho right now because you are the highest ranked player in all of Idaho right now. So which is really exciting, dude. And you earned that. You did not just give that away. Spec didn't give it to you. You earned it. You legit
tightened up your defense in set 2. You tightened up your defense. You got your shots on. You had some incredible offhand or overhand, whatever people like to call it, shots. I mean, I can't wait to see some of these highlight replays. Just the back and forth between both you and Spec. You fought tooth and nail to take this victory. I mean, you are going to be going up against Nathan next. How do you feel about that, Nathan? How do you feel about that, David?
I was actually going to ask him because, right before this game, he was like, man, I'm going to be taking a break. He's, been out of air hockey for a few weeks, which is crazy to come in and beat Spec after a few weeks off, which is just mind blowing. You can't, it's like somebody in the Olympics just taking some time off. It's like, you don't do that. You have to stay up on your practice. So my question for you is, I mean, I'm obviously terrified to play you. You've been doing extremely good. But my question for you is, does this change your plans to take a break?
No.
And what does a break mean? Because a lot of people are curious about that.
Well, I mostly might want to take a break from going to the Sunday tournaments
Okay.
at least. But if all these people want to challenge me, I guess it's like I don't want to reject it because it feels mean.
Well, the way that the challenge match ratings or the actual the rules are, you only have to do one a month, and they have to they get it's like a 2-month period. They challenge you in whatever month, and then you set up the game for the next month, and they have to come to you. They play on the table of your choosing. They play with the puck that you choose, as long as it's one of the main pucks, which is usually like the yellow one that we're using, or a red puck. Unless you both agree on a different place or both agree on a different puck. So it really puts you in the position of power. Right now, if I were to challenge you for your world ranking, you would be like, all right, we get to play at my table at my house. And I'd be like, all right, well, then I'm coming to your house to play on your table, right? And you're like, I want to play with this puck. And as long as it's a USA-sanctioned puck, we're playing with that puck, right? And it sounds funny because people listening to this will be like, who cares? A puck is everything. It's like your glove in baseball or your skates in skating, right? It's important. It's your own piece, and you're used to it. Every puck acts differently. Every table acts differently. Every environment is different. So you have all the advantage for it. I mean, we've got our game set up, and it's going to be happening later, near the end of this month. After that game, you get to take it easy and then set those matches. You could have one a month. You also can just drop out of the ratings if you really want to. I highly suggest you hold on to it. I think that'll make it way more fun. You are now a gatekeeper for that thing. I didn't want Spec to lose it, right? He's supposed to be the gatekeeper. He's supposed to keep people out of these high ranks. You are now, I don't know if you know this, you are now considered a pro at air hockey. I believe in the 30s, you were actually considered an ultra pro is what they call it, but it sounds weird, so I'd like to just say pro. So now when you tell people that you are a pro at air hockey, you're not just saying it, you are actually rated as a pro player right now. How cool is that? If you drop your rake, you won't be, though. But
Yeah.
It's something to be said is that, we saw Spec manage to take a win from Nathan, and that was an incredible day for Idaho air hockey. And now we've seen it again where you've taken Spec's rank. I mean, it's just really incredible to see.
I will say, like I said, I voted against you. I made a bet against you on this one. Why? Because he's been up in practice. I've seen him throw games and then come back with all the knowledge. He studies his opponents really well, but you were able to adjust one step ahead of him, and it's crazy. I'm really proud of you, frankly. I would like to believe that I had a big piece of that, but I know it wasn't just me. It was everybody in Idaho, including George Anderson. And we saw a lot of his game play out in you. Actually, could you tell us a bit about that? You heard the news. George passed away a week ago. Tell us about your game that you played with him.
I don't really know a lot to say. But we played like a couple games, right? He was a really cool dude, honestly, and he was really good at air hockey. So, yeah.
Crazy good.
Right.
He took 5th place. He took 5th place last year. And so it's crazy because he had so many surgeries. He had so many injuries. He had over 30 surgeries done to him. He had so many health issues. And he would still play a game, lay on the floor. I don't know if you ever saw him just like on the floor, like resting in between games. He'd jump back up to play the next game. And he'd still somehow got up to 5th place in the world, which is still a dream for me at this point. But either way, in the chat, there's a lot of people that are talking about challenging you at this point, but they're all just being goofy. Don't worry about it. It doesn't work that way. Here's the other way it works, by the way. Let's just say 10 people challenge you, right? And so you'd say, okay, that's fine. Next month, you only have to, by priority, go against the one that's the highest ranked.
Oh.
So let's just say Matt challenges you and Spec, and I challenge you. Spec, because his ranking is higher, he get priority. You'd only have to play that one game. So it's not nearly as bad as it seems. To be honest, it's actually kind of fun. My favorite air hockey player, Brandon DeMauro, he lived in Colorado, and he paid to fly me out to play against him, right? I totally lost. I was on a table I wasn't used to or anything, but it was such a fun trip, right? So who knows? Maybe somebody's going to reach out and be like, we'll fly you out here because your rank is juicy to them. They also, because they're watching it, think, oh, I could beat that guy. And they have no idea how good you really are. So, yeah. I know, for vacation time. Alrighty. I think we're going to end it off right here. I want to thank everybody once again. There's a whole bunch of people. Actually, I'm going to do something really weird, and ask for like everybody in the crew that wants to be on camera. If you guys want to just pile over here just to wait for a second.
I'll just come over there real quick.
Yeah, Caleb, just drive on down. Everybody from the crew in the back. I just would like everyone to walk over here. There's like tons of people. It's actually kind of fun to see the house fill up. I don't know if anyone else can hear me in the house. I don't know if they can hear me in the office or anything, but there's like a bunch more people. So I just want to say thank you to all these guys. You guys have made it absolutely possible. This is our ref right here. Our rep, also rep extraordinaire. We've got people in the office that are like, oh no, how do we end the feed if we're in this? I'll give you guys a second if you guys want to pop out here. But either way, it's just kind of fun to have so many people that have popped. You just saw like half of them. That's fun.
Absolutely
so
great.
these guys do this for free. This is, we're all volunteers. We're all doing this for free. And we just want to thank our sponsors because those are the guys who really pay the bills and get us the equipment that we need. There's our guy. Yeah, that's the new kid who just out of nowhere came in and just jumped in and started helping out. And the man, the myth, the legend himself, Spec. Did he just take our trophy? Yeah, isn't that fun? We have, the worst that you could possibly do right now, the worst after this moment that you could possibly do is second.
That belongs to this guy
right?
here.
And the best that you could do right now is first place. You are looking at either this trophy right here, my friend, or this one right here, and you just made it to the Spec might get this one. You never thought I was going to be saying that at the end of today, which is really fun and exciting. Everyone's, oh man, now there's already votes. Right now they're voting. They're like, I hear votes for Josiah and votes for Spec.
The next most incredible underdog story ever.
Josiah versus Spec? Yeah.
Yes.
He's not handing out wins, though. I guarantee that. All right. From all of us at the American Air Hockey League, we want to thank all of our fans and all of our viewers and all of the sponsors. And so we just all want to say thank you. So from all of us at American Air Hockey League, we'd like to wish you all a good night.
Good night.
Bye, Caleb, and
Good
thank
night,
you.
everybody. You're welcome, and thank you, everyone. Woohoo!